Last we left our heroes, you woke from an odd out-of-body but wholly realistic dream or alternate reality in which you saw and experienced the past as well as potential presents and futures. Fighting your way through it freed yourselves, and as you came to, you found yourselves no longer in the mirrored halls of this split time stream, but instead prisoners, held in a cage of mirror and metal at the whim of an odd construct figure who introduced itself as Primus, at least what was left of it. This vestige of the once god, now displaced out of time, somehow found its way here, and with renewed purpose sought to repair this tear in time. To do so, it seemed to require the energy of your souls, and would violently tear it from you. As it began, these attempts to separate body from soul, you talked briefly, but were unable to deter its mission, and in time you fell into a fight. A challenging and harrowing battle ensued, one in which this being and this place became one, and together controlled much of the flow of the fight. For a long time, simply surviving was its own challenge, let alone bringing down your foe, and ultimately you deduced that perhaps targeting the source of this thing's intent would better suit your time. Hondo struck first at these containment units, one of which held a golden light, and when destroyed, that light, with a life of its own, rose and flew from the room to passages beyond. Any thoughts to pursue were quickly dashed, as Primus doubled down on its control of this space and slowly began picking you off, pulling souls and destroying the bodies of Valentine and then Hondo. Though removed from the light, you were not altogether destroyed, as you would come to awaken, reformed in another cage, and not alone. Within this prison, inside a prison, you found the human shell of the once master of the mystical arts, Mordenkainen. Unable to do anything from within this prison cell, the soul energy that was drawn from you would come to find you, but it could not cross this barrier between, and thus you had to wait. In the main battle, Mary, Allie, and Gord finished destroying these containment units, freeing Hondo and Val's captured souls, before realizing there was more to this prison than the immediate room with the vestige of Primus, and dashing from it, Mary would come to find the containment cell and dispel its hold. With that, souls returned to their physical hosts, and you were renewed and joined by the champion, Mordenkainen. In a lucky or calculated attempt, the wizard bought you some time from the pursuit of Primus, time enough to heal and to hold for the vestige to return, and as it did, you unleashed hell, with Hondo finally striking down your captor. The light from within its metal form flickers and dies, and its body begins to sink down into the oil pit in the center of this room. The cabled tendrils now lay limp across the plated floor, and you finally breathe a sigh of relief as you stand victorious once more. We begin as this silence falls across the room, save your panting breaths and the faint sound of creaking metal. Mordenkainen kind of generally, not to any one particular person here, says, "We must move quickly. This is not the first time the vestige has been slain. It's only a matter of time before it resets."
Oh, okay.
Gather your things. Come.
I'm pretty hurt. Oh shit, okay. Someone help me put all this stuff in the bag of holding. He's frantically putting it in the bag of holding.
I'll help him.
How much time do you want to devote to this?
We need all of the important stuff we need to get. If it's like a Revenant Vow cloak from game 17, I don't need that shit, but like all of our magic and potions and gold and platinum I want to get back in.
Do you prioritize coin and gems, or do you prioritize your items?
Items.
I would do items, but I imagine Hondo would be like swallowing gold. Like,
items.
If we all work on it, can we each take?
We have 2 bags of holding too.
You have 2 bags of holding, but Gord's is basically full. So Gord's is like stacked, because unless he's spent a significant portion of gold, which I don't know if he has since the dragon fight, Gord's was basically topped up.
God.
My bag of holding jacket can hold a lot.
That's
of
true. You got some pockets now, baby.
Hondo's gonna have all the money after this. Great. The big question is, was Valentine organized where he had nice little bags that he had his money in, or was it just like, if I stick my hand in, give me 5 gold?
I feel like we just
I think it's the latter.
You know, Valentine.
Pretty sure it's just loose money.
Any item he got, he was like, great.
Okay. In this case,
I will say I prioritize. In knowing Hondo, I would not worry about gold. I would just go for the items and try and get all our important items.
Okay, you do still have everything written in your inventory, like in D&D Beyond?
Yep.
Okay, so how many, like, what items are all there? Can you make just a quick rundown?
Sure. Okay, so obviously I want to get the gate gem apparatus. Yeah. Battleborn Signet Ring, Mystery Gem,
all of those new fancy things that were Raymond's friends.
All of those items. All of those, the Circle of the Eight items. My blue and black spiders from my uncle's fight. My 2 Yeti fingers. The soul coins.
Why are the Yeti fingers
important? Cloak of Drowkind. All of my scrolls. The chest with an infernal lock from Torque. Heartskull safe at Daggers HQ from Haverfeld. That's really it, actually. There's not... Everything else we're pretty much attuned to.
Okay, that's not
Everyone has their potions. Yeah, so it's
was the genie bottle in there too?
That's a
Hondo. Unfortunately, Hondo owns that.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was
secretly in Hondo's jacket.
Yeah.
In that case, everyone just roll straight dexterity checks if you're looking to scoop up items.
Love it.
Hondo, if you're looking to just scoop coin, don't have to roll a dexterity check for me.
That's a
what
check.
I want you to roll. Dexterity check, just straight D20 plus whatever your dexterity modifier
I'm gonna
is.
burn my bardic thing.
8 for me, plus 5.
17 for me.
Hondo, actually, instead of a dex check for you, I'm gonna have you do sleight of hand just to see, because you're gonna be much more adept at swiping coin than anyone taking more time to like pick up an item and place it. The thing is, to place it into the bag of holding, as I said, Gord's is more or less full. So you only have one pocket, right, to put everything back in, and everyone has to kind of almost do it one at a time because it's a magical item. It still needs to be properly like used.
And it's not that big.
It's
like a backpack.
It's a satchel. Like yeah. So some of this is going to take like the safe, the infernal lockbox. That takes like its own whole action. It takes a little bit of doing. So. Allie, Val, what'd you guys get dex checks?
I got 15.
And 17 for me.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh, I rolled 2 because I don't know if you heard that I was
coming to you.
Dirty 20.
Okay. So
great.
With all of that then, and Gord, are you aiding them?
Or are you aiding with the money?
Are you aiding money or items?
Well, Gord likes those items. We know our Gordon.
Items.
Okay. Then did you roll a dex check for me as well? So straight D20 plus your dexterity. And Hondo, what was your sleight of hand?
8 plus 7, 15.
Okay.
11.
Okay. You guys can get all of the items.
Wait, Kevin, that should be a 10.
Oh,
Are you not proficient in sleight of hand?
Is that one of your proficiencies?
I don't know if he is. He's a weird rogue.
No, sleight of hand's not a proficiency.
No.
He's the weird rogue.
Wait, then how do you have a plus 7?
Natural talent.
He's got a 5 and then half proficiency.
Oh, bards.
Yeah.
Fucking
bards.
bards.
Baby.
So 15 for Kev?
Yep.
How much money and gems are in the bag of holding, Val?
Boy, see, this is
Let's say, okay, in the items too, Kyle, which I was going to start saying, if they're getting a handle on items, I was going to make sure that I get the diamonds.
Okay. I'd say you can prioritize the diamonds alongside your roll.
Okay.
You know what? We've actually used a lot of money lately. So party gold is only 130 gold. It's not a lot anymore.
Oh.
And let's look at the gems. But
we, a good chunk in gems.
But we have 5,000 gold worth of gems.
How
but
much
we have
in
8 diamonds. 8 diamonds.
Oh wait, the diamonds. I think
650.
Scott, you said the diamonds you keep on yourself because you don't want to go into the bag if you have to heal somebody or something like that.
You wouldn't have 8 diamonds in his
Yeah, okay,
pockets.
that's fair.
Maybe one, probably one.
Probably one for a raised dead. Always kind of keep it on you. I would 100% buy that. But at least 7 are still kicking in the bag. Mary with a 20, you can prioritize those and aid Allie, Gord, and Val with the item process. Hondo with a 15 focusing solely on the 130 coins and
5,000 gold worth of gems.
Is that including the diamonds or is that separate?
That's separate.
That's separate.
This is from the Dragon Horde.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That stuff.
Okay, I'm going to roll to see how many of those you can manage to swipe in this time before Morton kind of says,
"Oh no, what will we do without our gems?" Like
this is like our first big thing where we lose money. I think
that's okay. Guys. We have our lives. Hondo will be upset, but
okay. Kev rolled 15.
What I want to know is what he wanted from the bag of holding.
It's just like I think anything.
What you had in it.
Yeah. He's just a robot god. He doesn't really care.
Wow. Okay. With Kevin's 15.
You tell me, I'll update this bad boy.
So I got to do a little bit of math.
01.
Carry the 0.
22.
Let's see.
Playing this on New Year's Day, by the way. So happy New Year.
Happy New Year's, everybody.
Hexplorers listening out there in the world.
Okay. I rolled 93. So you would get 93% of what you're able to acquire.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
With a 15.
I was going to accept 93 gold.
93% of what you can acquire with a 15. So it's not a natural. He didn't roll 30, so he's not getting it all. He didn't roll 20, so he's not getting a big chunk. But he's getting a very good chunk of what you can acquire in a 15 sleight of hand, which still comes out to 3,500 in gems.
Perfect.
So you lose 1,500 in this spray of shit over the room. But Hondo, you now have 3,500 gold in gems, however you want to equate that, and 130 gold pieces. You have no platinum.
Should I add that to my total, or should we that's from the team's?
Well, it's now in your coat.
Okay, I'll make a note that that's in your coat.
Yeah. Okay. I can write it here as in my notes as well, just so we have it. 3,500 gem.
Hondo, you would have all of any platinum or gold you had. This was just in the bag of holding, like this party stuff where we were keeping the gems. But you got that now, and I'll put that here.
Shopping spree.
You're like, I didn't get any. Oh, too bad.
You guys are rapidly just trying to reclaim your things. And to Valentine's point, there wasn't a ton in there that wasn't either expendable or you already had attuned to your person. You're already always kind of at the ready with. But there are a couple of, especially those new items, which are super clutch, and a couple of very important items that you still need to keep with you.
Yep.
Mordenkainen's impatience is starting to kind of wear, and he's not helping, and he's just kind of standing over you. And you can
some of this is your people. Okay, let's just keep going.
He is not paying attention, but Valentine, Gord, and Honda, you can gather beneath his breath, there is this incantation that he is processing. So he is not paying any attention, but he's in the middle of processing what seems almost like a ritualistic incantation, but it's not any ritual that you can pinpoint. Especially because you're so focused on the act of collecting your items. As you are rapidly pulling these things in, already all of you can hear the shifting and creaking and tinkling of metal, and you see some of those, the tendrils, the arms, the snakes of this room are beginning to kind of writhe, and they're pulling back slowly into the pool where you can see is beginning kind of.
Guys, we gotta go. We gotta get out of here.
Beginning to bubble up. At this moment, bag of holding snaps shut. Everything has been put in the bag of holding as you got it. Hondo, you could still get more, but Mordenkainen in front of you basically taps the staff, and you see this this rip in time, and you can actually see another mirrored hallway just beyond. And he's just quickly go
guys, go.
Hondo, you can choose to try and get some more gems, or you can run through. What do you do?
Hondo.
No. This is tough. I'm gonna run through.
Okay.
Thank God.
You already lost literally, what was it, 15 years of your life? Was it more than that?
I'd have to double check the notes.
It was a lot.
How much? I thought 30 years more or something.
I think it was 30% of your life is gone. So.
33 years old. Val has aged. Mary aged 5 years. Val,
Mary got 5, Val got 7 because like you got older than me for like a split second.
Yeah,
and then I caught up.
Yeah, Val's is kind of like all mixed up in here, but Honda's is very clear because I had to do math.
And those Tritons don't live long, so we discovered.
No, they
life
live
expectancy 20 years.
200 years.
I heard it was 20. I heard like he's well past his prime.
Honda's already up there in age, so just getting closer and closer to death's door. But you all finally rush through this tear, almost like a arcane gate, like a teleportation gate that Mordenkainen kind of crafts in the middle of the air. And he pulls you through, and immediately as Honda, you're the last one through, it closes behind. But you can immediately feel that calm is not present. The walls of that same mirrored wall, that long hallway of either end that seems to have no end, the mirror almost begins to kind of quake. You can feel this kind of shifting earthquake-like energy and this faint, like constant tinkling sound of falling glass or something falling onto metal and glass. And Mordenkainen says, again, not a whole lot of time.
Do you know where you're going?
I do. This is just a temporary break so that old Vestige doesn't come and try and kill us again. I have very little of my power left. And by the looks of you, that would be the same said for you.
Yeah.
We can close this tear that I've created. I can close this tear I've created. The expense of my life. But that was the deal. That was the plan all along. I've managed to hold off. Just tell me that I was successful.
Successful in what? In defeating the Tiamat and saving the world?
That to begin with, yes.
Yes, that did come to fruition. It a little wonky because there's kind of like a time trap thing that is like a dome of time.
It's a time lock.
It's a time lock. Yeah. But that seemed to work. Yeah, I mean, we're alive.
So beyond the realm, from Tiamat, from the Scourge, dragons, safe.
Dragons are all gone.
Yeah, it's been a couple hundred. I mean, there's another immediate threat, but yes, it's been a couple hundred years of safety.
Yeah, you did your job, but the world's still ending for us. So that's why we're like, we got you back.
Which is why I assumed the champions present would be coming for this, as he holds the staff aloft. He says, this is very near and dear to my heart, and it saddened me to pass it on. As you say, there is always another crisis, and I cannot leave here, nor can you, without my purpose coming to a close. But this will live on, and hopefully you will use it to continue saving this great realm of ours.
That's the plan.
When I die, the time stream tear will begin to re-heal and close. It's already begun as I've re-entered, so to speak. As you can see, that constant like quaking, and like you can feel more than see. It's almost like a perpetual, endless tunnel. But one end does seem to have an end, and it does seem to be closing.
Okay.
As you can already sense, this is coming to an end. The time lock beyond when I die will cease. It will end. And I have some control. I can put you back the moment you came through. The caveat being all the time that has passed will pass for all that would have been inside when I closed it. The circle, the tower, anything within the tower will long be destroyed. It's a sacrifice worth taking. I can put you back there just when you came in. But I have to die here.
Where do you want to be buried?
Oh, my body isn't going anywhere. This potentially brutal request, but I got very little left. Very little fight left. It won't take much. I'm willing.
You want one of us?
Preferably, whoever's the quickest would be appreciated.
I mean, I can do it.
I would do it sooner than later.
Okay. You should know Sylvanas and the rest of them. They lived. They were happy. You did a great sacrifice.
Did you meet him?
In a way.
He kind of taps your chest. No. At least I outlived him. He was said to be immortal. So that's a win in my books. He just kind of holds the staff out, just in general, like to no one in particular.
Gord the White.
Gordon, take hold of the staff.
Just instantly dies.
It was a trap. Haha.
Oh yeah, just cripples away to dust.
Do you take it, Gord?
I feel like Gord could have ran to the back.
Sure.
Okay.
You got me like mid bubbly sip. I'm like,
Good. You take hold of this long white staff, and you can see this kind of flared top of gold and white alabaster. The white perfectly kind of blending in with this new, renewed Gord Dunsworth. And you can immediately feel this thrum of energy within, this powerful surge of arcane strength that is just barely beneath the surface of this. And you can feel it almost like an adrenaline surge, just like pump you up. And you'll find out what that does in a bit. As Mordenkainen says, good. Wield it well. Mystra is a fickle goddess, and one who has granted me many allowances with magic. I trust she'll do the same to you in my stead. Be careful. Power. Not much power. It's a slippery slope. Use it well. Your time
anything
is
you want
running
us to tell? Sorry.
Good.
I was going to ask anything you want us to tell Uth?
Uth is still alive.
Yeah, super old. He's basically just a caretaker for like really cute zoo animals. You know what? That's not here nor there.
Tell him he was right. He'll know.
Is he just standing there?
Mordenkainen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he kneeled down or something. It's just so strange.
Not thus far. At least to hand out this, he's just standing, and he's not gonna kneel. He's not the kind to kneel.
I'll just walk up to him and just like respectfully nod and be like,
if I have a request.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Not the head.
Sure.
It's like my thing.
Nope. Totally fine. Looks great.
If you can get right in the heart, make it quick. I know it's gonna hurt. I can't back down now. 500 some odd years, you say?
Give or take.
Okay.
I'll just like walk up with my hand on Aetherius and then like put my hand on his chest and just like pat it and be like, thank you. Say hi to the rest of the champions for us.
Will do. Good luck and Godspeed in whatever adventures you have ahead of you. I'll be with you in spirit.
Nothing is impossible, right?
Not in this realm.
And then as he says that, I pump an Eldritch Blast straight into his heart through my hand.
He crumples and immediately, falls back, but is swallowed as the tunnel is just quickly, rapidly closing. And as he goes, on the opposite end, you see that same jagged golden tear in time, maybe 100, 200 feet down the tunnel. You all just begin sprinting, and you can hear the closing in behind, hot on your heels, of this shattering glass and metal crunching and this swirl of energy, this horrid sucking sound similar to when you were pulled into those alternate realms. But none of you are left behind. He bought you enough time. And you just burst out through into the study. It's not quite the same study it was when you entered. The contents all appear decayed. The alabaster stone itself has lost any of its sheen. It's weathered and cracked. In the middle of the room that is now kind of faintly dusted with bits of dry, you can see some snow is scattered in through cracks in the open windows that are no longer kind of magically enhanced. And you just see a frozen landscape beyond.
Is Alfred there?
Middle of the room, this perfectly kind of kneeled almost in a meditative pose, a long rusted form.
Oh.
Just sitting perfectly still, inert.
I'll walk up to it. Alfred, give me a little tap.
No response.
Good riddance to that tin can.
Hondo, you were a good companion, Alfred. You did your job and you saved your master.
Did nothing.
Just give him a little rap on the head. Dong.
Dull. There's no response.
I really wanted to see you two duke it out, Hondo, because I think he would have kicked your ass.
Do you think we can use him as scrap or spare parts? He might have value. We could partner. I'll take him.
Spare fucking parts.
I'll bring him with us. We could trade him in Arendelle.
He's 10 feet tall.
Yeah, he's very large.
He's
This
big.
is kind of rusty.
Can we get him
Bag of
on
holding
Bag of
is-
holding. If you want to try and carry this guy, by all means, we can try and teleport with him or whatever you want.
Okay, I will try.
I would love to see you try to carry a 2-ton metal, completely rusted out.
I just have to drag him.
Gord, how does that staff feel? That's another relic off the books. Could you describe what it looks like, Kyle?
It is an ornately long white staff, at the top of which are 3 red gems and a flared kind of golden, almost like 2 dragon wings, or like the flare of flame. This golden kind of symbol at the top. And in the middle of it, there's this circle with 12 little etches, like that of a clock. And there's some gold filigree down the side and at the butt of the end of the staff. It looks, it's pretty beautiful, traditionally of a wizard staff. Gord, you can add to your inventory Azuth's Fate.
Ooh, shit.
Exalted.
Oh, shit. It's already up some levels. Fuck me.
Never stop being used.
Oh, my God. Is that the highest level it goes? Oh, my God. It's crazy.
He used it right up until passing it on to you. It was in its final form in his hands. passed on.
Do you guys want to rest here? Do you want to try and teleport away? What do you guys want to do? Any hard feelings either way? I could literally teleport us.
If we're teleporting, it has to be to the Arendelle market.
So the market, so you can try and sell this poor animal?
Of course. We lost 50% of our money. We need to make it back.
How did you calculate that already? That's crazy.
I love how that's the one spot that Hondo has any kind of acuity is with his
remorse,
his dollars and cents. Yeah. I think we have to decide what we're doing next. We admittedly have a fucking, if we want to walk 50 yards that way, a free portal back to the Platinum Sanctuary.
What if there's like a polar bear outside, though? He could kick the shit out of us.
We could walk fucking 50 feet, is all I'm saying. Unless you really want to use your spells. What I'm saying is it depends on what we want to do. If we want to have a serious discussion, we want Gord to look at that thing, potentially talk to someone who knows about that thing a little bit, and to have a serious discussion where we don't want anyone else looking in on us, magical or otherwise.
Yeah.
Being in, Oof's place is probably the best bet.
All right,
in which case, we don't have to burn a spell. If we want to go back to Arendelle, we're free to burn a spell.
And we have a teleportation circle there now, but you're right.
Yes.
Okay, let's walk back to the base of the tower or whatever part that was.
See what the fuck the outside of this place looks like now. Weren't we down?
What if I just scooch to the window and I look and see if Tiamat is out there?
Make a perception check.
Oh no. Well, that looked a lot like a 1. It's a 7, so 20. 30.
You can see that you are all kind of down into a bit of a crater. So you can see that there's a rise of kind of ice that is about the window level here. So you can actually see out beyond, but the actual going all the way down to the stairs and then out will put you in the base of maybe 30, 40 feet of this kind of crater where the tower is kind of sat on its side. Brock, if you search Azud's Fate, I copy pasted below the link, if you just search that in inventory, you should be able to add it.
Oh, I got it now. Do I want Awoken or Exalted?
Exalted, baby.
Add to equipment.
Tippity tap.
And then we need to spend some time to attune.
Yeah, you have to attune to it still, so you can't quite attune and learn it, but it will probably happen within the next few minutes. You do see the signs of a large dragon corpse.
Oh my god.
There are just massive skeletal bones, similar to the end of the battle that you saw and then fought with the living spells. But it seems like there's nothing living here but you.
Okay. Let's maybe we just get out of this. So do you think, sorry Kyle, from your description, should we just jump out this window to this ice? Has the ice built up all the way to this window, or could we still go to the main floor?
Now think of it more like there's a massive crater hole and the tower is in the hole, but where this window is, you can see you're at the edge of the ice over here, so you can see actually across the expanse and the ice below.
Gotcha.
So you still have to climb or fly, whatever you want to do.
Well, let's get out of here just with our old feetsies. But Hondo, you could always come back here in the future and try and sell all these dragon bones.
That's a good idea. I definitely agree. We might be able to barter, some potions and stuff.
After we save the world, that's a great second hobby for you.
I'm just imagining Hondo being a Battles of the Past tour guide for
It would be a very bad one. And this is where I rode Tiamat. I jumped on her butt.
But we gotta focus on getting this robot out of here.
All right, have fun.
Hondo, as you go to just try and pull and move it.
Uh-oh.
It's like trying to pull a vehicle, like a car, with your bare hands. But without wheels. And long rusted.
If I was holding onto it and I threw Whisper, would I teleport with the robot?
Only one way to find out.
This is a great idea.
Let's do it.
Okay. With one arm linked.
Don't splint your arm off.
through,
Do it. Do it.
He's in this kind of meditative pose, so he's got a little loop in his arm. You loop your arm through. As the guys begin just to leave, they open the door, and now there's a clear shot out the window. You throw the dagger, and you teleport along, but you do not feel anything come along with you.
Oh,
damn
it! He's not an item. He's too big.
Yeah, you can't take it.
Can't fucking teleport a table.
Yeah, that's not how this works. In theory, if you drew the teleportation circle basically around.
I don't even know if I have a slot for that. Let me check.
Let's do it.
There's a chance, but it's also like the same reason why like a table, like you said, doesn't go through your teleportation circle. It's creatures only. This was a former creature, but there's now basically a statue.
I only have straight teleport. Has to be a willing creature. He doesn't look willing. He looks pretty dead.
Okay. What I'll do, I'll cut his head off, and I think I could use that as a barter.
Cut his head off?
It's a very rare robot that...
He's had a bad day. He was attacked by a lot of tentacles.
He doesn't really have a head.
Maybe an arm. Get an arm.
He had he kind of had like the torso rose up to a point, and then it was just a singular eye.
Oh,
I'll cut the eye.
Like Baymax.
Cut the eye. He's like a droid. He's like an adorable.
Yeah, it's not like flesh that you're cutting out. Like it's metal. And like
I pictured him a lot like. Is it Alpha from Power Rangers?
Here's what you can get off with your abilities and your what you have on you right now, as the rest of your party is literally walking out the door.
Yeah, we're gone. We've walked away.
At his chest, there's this circular plate of gold that has rusted less than anything else. It's weathered, and you can see it's etched with language of which you're not 100% sure what it all is, but it is like a circular plate, and it's all kind of spiraled around, and that you can kind of remove and take with you, and you're not sure if it's worth much. It seems to be made of pure gold, like it seems like a full gold plate with this etching, but at the very least it's a piece of him that you can get right now with relative ease.
Done.
Okay. As you all begin to leave, easily make your way back down the tower. The tower itself is still stone, so it's still holding against the elements over the past 500 years. But you can now see through the openings in the windows where there would have been some magical protections. Now snow is just built up. There are small drifts, and there's just accumulated frost across everything. And it's a little treacherous, but with a little bit of care, you're able to make your way out into the courtyard of the former battle and immediately out into the relatively frigid cold. I will remind again, you're still about the 30, 40 feet down, like below the surface. You could climb up the ice wall. You could use your abilities to fly or do whatever you want, but is your aim to make it back to the Tower of Doors, or are you going to try and teleport?
It's so funny that the one magical item we forgot about talking about putting back in the bag of holding is our fucking magic carpet. Oh, it's so funny. We just always forget about it.
Lost to time now.
It can be if you want it to be. It could have finally taken its resting place somewhere away from us.
So fitting.
Roll for it.
Roll for it. Do it.
Our characters would have
Odds and
noticed the
evens.
giant
Just do
carpet,
odds and
but we
evens.
do understand it would take a long time to get it in there.
It's a 50-50 shot.
Odds and
you
evens.
have a 50% chance. I'm rolling percentile die, so it gives you a better shot. 50 and above, you got it.
Okay.
79.
Hey.
Man, that would have been so fitting.
You had the wherewithal to pack it, or at the very least coil it under someone's arm and run out with it.
Trying to shove it into the bag of holding.
Just give it to Alana. Alana can carry it.
Yeah,
it helps you didn't have a ton of items to work with.
No. Just all these new cool ones.
There weren't a million fiddly little...
Yeah, like if you had like hundreds of armor pieces and like all these things. Anyways.
So I probably still have my wings because I didn't use my wings in that fight. I used them in my dream fight. Then we have the carpet, which seats 4.
Mhm.
And then
You don't have Fern anymore.
Fern's not
I
here.
haven't used.
Yeah,
Or
get
should I-
Mira out. Let's do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Then we could fly out of here.
Easy enough.
Great. Whoosh, bought my wings.
So, sorry, is the plan to head to the Tower of Doors, or are you going to... That's the plan, is Tower of Doors?
Yeah, I say go to the Tower of Doors, and then we can just use the door out.
You got it. Within a relatively quick jaunt, you notice that seems to be mid-afternoon, maybe slightly after, like 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon. And to no issues, you guys make your way across the plains, flying across, landing at the Tower of Doors, and headed back.
Are our footprints like still there?
If you wanted to take
or is
time,
it windy?
I mean, it's windy as fuck.
Okay, I was just curious, just to make sure that it is actually the same day. That was going to be.
If you want to take time to like make a check,
I'll look at the ones that are like right in the doorway.
yeah, make a survival check.
That was cocked. That's basically the same thing as what was cocked. I'm pretty sure that's 14, but 1 second.
There's only one set, Mary, because that's when Bahamut
14.
was carrying you.
Little big dragon set.
Yeah. You can, is it 14 your final score?
Yes.
You can see the ones that are closest to the tower, and once you get in the tower, you can see the recent signs of travel and coming in, and the snow kind of kicked in some faint boot prints. But right outside the door, where the bulk of all of your boot prints are, they haven't quite been wiped away by the wind. It seems like a couple hours. You guys have spent time from the time you got here. You spent like an hour or two outside of the time lock, investigating and shit. So like,
and then like we spent hours inside the time lock, and who fucking knows?
Yeah.
In the no time at all, but we are all tired.
Yes, you are definitely physically
literally
exhausted.
Aged.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the physical pushing of time through you has physically exhausted you, plus the effort exerted. Even though it doesn't feel like in the day time has passed so much. You make your way into the pot sanctuary if that's where you want to go.
Yeah, guys, let's go back to Ted, to Uth, to Damascus.
Immediately,
Burn.
the door, at first, it looks like there's some energy around it, but you're not exactly sure what to expect on this side, with no key, hole to like open it up. You reach out, and almost as like, rather than opening the door, you're just on the other side. As you intend to like go through, you just appear in the middle of the study.
Fuck, there's so much I wanted to.
All of you just arrive in Damascus, and a teacup just falls and shatters on the ground as a book.
Damascus, what are you doing?
You're back so soon.
That's like 500 years old. You can't just be throwing around teacups.
I'll apologize too, but actually, he picks it up and just begins mending it.
That's pretty cool.
Were you unsuccessful?
Were we? And I look at Gord. Like, move aside so Gord and the staff can be there.
I don't know. Were you?
That's a Zeus fate. That's one of the relics. We got it.
He stands and looks to Gord. Is that true? Is this the staff of Mordenkainen?
Yep.
We're also Cavalier.
It's been a fucking day.
Do we look older?
It's been 2 hours.
It's not, well, for you maybe.
Feels like years.
You look older.
Yeah,
He looks,
I wouldn't
he gets
say
real
older.
close to you.
No,
I lost a hand briefly.
What?
He looks at you and no, should you look older? He looks over at Mary and Hondo though, and kind of has a little like head turn at Mary, and then at Hondo, actually kind of like a bit of a shock, pull back as he says, "My Hondo, actually, is this a glamour you're putting on, or an effect of the tower, Mordenkainen?"
Yeah, your scales here are like a little grayer than blue, Hondo.
It's us Tritons, we live a long time, so I ventured, a more mature stage, I guess you could say. But this is all the tower, of course.
Wow.
I love how we're all acting super cavalier, but we've all been like emotionally through so much shit that it's just like
this is the denial
it's a coping mechanism at this point.
Can we maybe sit down? Would that be all right if we sat down? It's been
Are you
a while.
asking me? You can do whatever you want. Just don't sit where I spilled my tea.
Yeah.
I'm already sitting in it.
Just be careful with the broken glass.
I'll just
Oh, it's okay. This is nothing.
I'll just touch Aetherius and then tell Fern I'm here telepathically and tell him to get Keith to come.
Easy enough. A short couple of minutes pass before you hear their paws kind of pounding outside the door, and they all rush through with Uth slowly coming in behind as you guys begin to just kind of take in this quiet moment of rest and just relaxation and warmth, which is also nice.
Mm-hmm.
As you're all just kind of sitting there, Damascus has just been kind of hovering over Gord and just kind of looking over his shoulder ever so slightly. It's only been maybe 5-10 minutes as Uth returns or walks in, and Keith and Fern and Teddy just barrel through.
Ted.
They all just slam into the room, and it's suddenly just chaos as the chairs are pushed aside and there's a small fire, and it's a lot. But Damascus quickly puts it out, and there's a moment.
Could we maybe go to the courtyard where there's more space and maybe just unwind, have a nap or something?
Uth, before, just puts his hand out and says, well, I have to assume you are successful in your acquisition. And he looks over at Gord with the staff.
Mordenkainen says you were right. Said you'd know what that meant.
You can just see he's quiet and just contemplative, and this little welling of redness around his eyes.
He very well might have just saved the world twice.
If anyone would have the gall to do it, it would be him.
You look good. Great, facial hair, the bald. It's just everything was very well put together.
He did care very much for fashion.
Do you think it was eyeliner, or was it just the eyelashes thing where it kind of seems like, they have eyeliner on?
I think it was a little bit of magic assistance and training.
Oh, yeah. That's
He
nice.
did some touch-ups from time to time. Did you have a chance to speak with him?
Very, very briefly.
That's too bad. I'm sure he would have been a wealth of knowledge.
I had a lot of questions for him, but want to hear the whole story in the courtyard over dinner?
Of course. It's a little early for dinner, unfortunately.
Lunch. We'll settle for lunch. We got up so early this morning.
Just a snack, maybe.
I will prepare something. Please, go and rest. I'll be along shortly.
Just treat this guy like our chef. Just so
chef,
mean.
our pet
This
babysitter.
ancient hero, I know. God. What a kind guy.
He asks for Damascus's help to pull him away from Gord for a moment, and the two of them depart as you all make your way to the courtyard, and do indeed finish a short rest if you wanted to consider it a short rest. But if you just want to relax, Gord, do you want to attune to Azuth's fate in this time?
Yes.
As you sit there and feel that energy surge, that adrenaline rush doesn't quite go away for this entire time that you're feeling out the power and letting it kind of blend with your magic, and as there is an attuned process, but you can feel like a presence that passes from it to you by the end of the attunement. And in that time, you learn its capabilities, its power, and its life and world-altering abilities. Firstly, its ability to alternate reality for a short while for yourself. You can basically, before rolling, you can grant yourself advantage on any ability check, attack roll, or saving throw. Alternatively, after rolling a saving throw, you can choose to re-roll, but you have to use the new roll. You can do this once per long rest, so it's like an additional luck. It's a +3 attacks and your spell save DC, +3 increase to attacks and spell save.
Oof, +3? Oof. And spell DC? Yep. Oh my god.
Has 15 charges with which you can cast Slow, Haste, Blur, Pulse Wave, Far Step, Temporal Shunt, Disintegrate, and Teleport. Regains 2d6 +3 expended charges. However, if you expend the last charge, the staff loses its magic bonus to your attack and spell save DC until it regains new charges. So if you go down to 0, it loses the +3 bonus to spell save and your attack bonus. So you want to keep that in mind if you ever expend the 15th final charge.
Yeah, usually leave one in the tank.
Yeah. Azuth's Fate also grants you immunity to the effects of slow. And you gain part of the abilities of the Keen Mind feat to accurately always know what time it is.
Cool.
You just know what time it is.
Those are some awesome spells.
Finally, this is the Exalted Mordenkainen's edition. Mordenkainen's Temporal Displacement is an ability with the divine blessing of the goddess Mystra that the wizard Mordenkainen inscribed a rune of his own making upon the staff, one that bends and breaks the flow of time for the wielder and a select number of allies. As an action, the wielder of the staff can invoke this rune of temporal displacement and expend any number of charges from the staff, a minimum of 1, teleporting themselves and up to 7 willing individuals, so they can see within 30 feet of them, to a different point in time. The staff sends the wielder a number of hours equal to the charges expended backwards in time, arriving in the same space only hours before. If another creature is in the space and you teleport a creature left and it arrives, there's like force damage if you basically teleport on top of somebody. Once this ability has been used, however, you have to roll 1d100. The rune then fades, and you cannot use this ability for a number of years equal to that roll.
Oh.
If you roll a 1, this rune fades and never returns.
Wow.
You get one fucking chance.
You have one shot every anywhere from 2 to 100 years to travel backwards in time.
Okay.
Up to 15 hours if you use all of the charges of the staff.
Oh, fuck.
Man. Okay. I remember there being a very important thing with potentially Asmodeus coming through and then reversing the time to go back in and get him. And okay.
That's your window.
It's your window. Damn.
I will say, technically, only Gord knows the information thus far.
Wait, did Allie go back in time? Did she use it and then is appearing beside herself?
Watching our game.
On stream, you might not be able to see in this crop, but an adorable child may have showed up.
Gord, you learn this information through the attunement process. Do you share the full abilities, the displacement, or any of it with the rest of the group as you guys are all just kind of relaxing in the garden?
I'll share. My time of secrets is over.
Bless your heart and soul.
In that case,
you're like, I don't know. I think it's just like a stick.
It doesn't do anything. It snaps.
It's kind of fancy. Wow.
What are you guys doing?
We definitely need a long rest.
Yeah.
We also have guys, we have 8 of these, well now 7 of these cool Circle of 8, not relics, but magic items. Like Hondo, I know you really liked the Robe of Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
I do enjoy that.
That's where you can throw these stars just like how Lav throws her crown of stars or whatever. And then you can also, as an action, go to the astral sea and then come back when you want.
The magic missiles, but yeah.
Oh, sorry, you're right. 6 stars you can throw off as a 5th level magic missile. +1 to all saves. It's pretty dope. And then Gord, you have the Staff of Greater Healing. We have Gilzari. Can I spell that? Jalarzi's Dragon Touch Scepter, which is really dope. Illusionist Bracers. Hondo, if you want to cut off your hand, you could wear Bigby's arm. What else do we got? The Crystalline Shield and Rapier is auto silver thread, so I think we thought about giving that to, what's his name? The other silver thread from Arendelle, Eli.
There was also a wand that you didn't investigate, the Quicksilver Rod that you didn't investigate, and you didn't investigate the Arcane Arm, the prosthetic, but none of you can currently use it anyways.
Do you want to do that now?
Yeah.
Scott,
I'll take the next couple hours while we're just chilling and ritually cast Identify.
The Wand of Protection, I'm just going at random. It's a wand that you can use as focus. It requires attunement. Class agnostic. Anybody can do this. It's topped with a crystal, and you feel a reassuring presence wash over you, kind of while holding it out. Just kind of, it's like a calming element. While attuned, your AC and all saving throws increase by 1. It has 8 charges from which you can cast Shield, Arcane Lock, Stone Skin, Resilient Sphere, or Wall of Force. If any of those require a spell save, it's a DC 17, and it regains 1d6 plus 2 charges daily at dawn. And if you expend a last charge, roll a d20. On a 20, the wand is lost.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
The Quicksilver Rod is also a tuned item, but class agnostic. It is Quicksilver is this mercurial form that kind of ornate. It just kind of reverts to a rod if unattuned in no particular use. About 3 feet in length, but it can be shaped into many things. It can be shaped into a palm-sized ball of moldable clay. Once you're attuned to it, you can kind of just reshape it almost like just clay. You can reshape it back and forth into these things, and you can kind of just like a stress ball, just kind of move it around. However, as a bonus action, you can reshape it into one of the following forms. It can be a +3 simple weapon of your choice. It can transform into a climbing pole up to 50 feet long, and that can basically create a ladder, more or less, that can hold up to 4,000 pounds climbing up it. You can transform it
4,000, did you just say? Okay.
You can transform it into a battering ram with a +10 bonus to strength checks made to break down doors, barricades, and other barriers. It can be turned into a compass, which will basically flatten into a palm-sized disc on your hand with this faint arrow that will kind of spin to show you north. That's pretty much just all it does. It shows you which way north is, as long as there is a north to the plane you're on. And finally, it can be a floating disc, roughly 3 feet in diameter and 1 inch thick, so it can only hold 1 person. But it's capable of flying with a speed of 20 feet. And it can hover, so it's kind of this floating Magneto-like platform that you can just kind of fly around with and control. It can hold up to 500 pounds. If more weight is placed on it, it dissolves and everything on it falls to the ground.
I really think we can ask her when she rejoins, but I think this would be cool with Lav. I could just see her getting up to many mischievous things with that. Does anyone really like it or want it? That's the only thing, is we only have 3 slots though. So if you do take it, Hondo, what are you going to drop for your Robe of Stars? You're going to have to unattune to something.
A tricky one. How about I just get an extra slot?
Oh, okay, sure.
Can't exactly do that.
What else you got for us, Kyle? What about the dancing rapier and shield thing? Autos.
those you already basically know what they do. You can spend the time to identify to get it exactly. But the shield is an animated shield, and the dancing rapier is a dancing sword. It's just a rapier. So as a bonus action, you can basically toss it out there, and it will fight for you. It'll fly out 30 feet, and it will, as your bonus action, just continually fight. And you can basically make an additional attack as a bonus action, almost like a spiritual weapon, but it's an item. And then after a certain time, let me pull it up exactly, it like comes back to your hand. Fly up to 30 feet. It's part of the same. After hovering and making 4 attacks, it'll fly 30 feet and come back to your hand. If you have no free hand, it falls to the ground at your feet. But then you have to do it again. So basically, it's like 4 attacks with the attack before it comes back to you, and then you have to do it again. But it's just a bonus action. Use a bonus action to toss it in the air, and then away it goes. It uses your attack roll, ability scores, and damage. So like, it's a dex-based weapon, although it's versatile or finesse. So it could be strength or dex, but it can be used with dex or strength, but uses your attack bonus as if you were holding it. So if you're unproficient in rapiers, it will carry over to this item.
Gotcha.
The shield is just like a similar thing, but it's just a shield that floats around you, right?
Exactly. So it's a bonus action.
It adds to your AC.
You kick it up. You now don't need to hold the shield, and it will constantly just kind of float around you as if you had a shield. So your AC increases by 2, but you can keep your hands full of other shit.
This is like obviously out of game. Kevin, I know you were talking about trying to get a way to increase your AC. This automatically bumps it by 2.
But just a shield that kind of flies around you and defends you.
Then you might have to lose Gambler's Blade, which would take down your AC.
Wait, so this will boost my AC by 2, you said, right?
It's like holding a shield. Like Val has a shield, but he has to keep a shield in his one hand. So his hand always has a shield on it. But as a caster, he has Aetherius or any other weapon in his hand. He can use that as a focus to cast a spell. So he doesn't need like another hand to have a staff or a wand. Gord has both staffs in either hand. He now can't, use a third thing.
Okay,
because this would allow you to have 2 weapons. And
it is also attuned, though.
But it's attuned.
Yeah.
Because my Gambler's Blade, I'm just checking it boosted my AC 2, I think, or 1. I'm not.
It can go 1, 2,
but you
or
could
3.
Go to 3.
So in theory, Kev, you could swap this out for the Gambler's Blade. No longer have a detriment to your dex saves.
That's true.
That's a big one.
But then he doesn't have the Gambler's Blade to attack with.
Then you do not have that to attack with. We'll have to find you another sword to attack with.
Well, could he attack with it, but he just wouldn't be attuned to it, or is that not how that works?
It wouldn't be a magical weapon, would it?
Yeah, I wouldn't give it its magical bonus.
He has Frostbite.
He still has other weapons.
Whisper.
Yeah, I have Whisper and Frostbite.
Gambler's a 1d8 though. We should just get you like a cool, I don't know, scimitar or something that's like a 1d8.
Scimitar's a d6.
Yeah, you'd have to get a rapier.
Rapiers are the only.
There's not a lot of magical rapiers. That's what I.
But you lost all that money though, Honda. We don't have enough money to buy you a nice rapier anymore.
You can sell the Gambler's Blade.
So we could buy you like a +2 weapon or some plus weapon that's not attuned. Like you could have another sword.
There's also, there's the cloak as well, which you were also kind of interested in.
Yeah.
Can I say one more thing? Sorry, Mary, you go.
No, that's go ahead.
You can so with me and the crystal ball, I just unattune to it and I'm not using it. You could do the same thing with your ring.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that.
The only thing I would say with the ring is you don't necessarily know when you're gonna need it. You just kind of are just like in a space and suddenly you're like,
Kevin asked for this ring for like 100 games. He's been trying to get this ring.
It's literally in our first episode. I just watched it back and he says,
I want to say one thing to Kevin about the spells that are part of it. You could probably get those spells as your bard. We're going to hit a level up when you guys take your rest.
That's true, baby.
If you take bard, tongues is a 3rd level spell. Comprehend language is a 1st level spell, which I'm pretty confident is on the bard spell list. So you could take tongues with your 3rd, swap something out for a 1st to take comprehend languages, and then you always have them prepared. You just got to burn a spell slot. And you could also keep the ring and just like Scott is saying, take it off, use something else, and when you're like, we're going to be in a place that has a bunch of languages, maybe I want to use that, pop it back on. I hope you don't get
It is on
stabbed.
both spell lists. Yeah.
Like if I were to pop it on, like let's say we meet someone who's speaking a different language, and like, we need to know what they're saying. If I can't just pop it on and be like,
No.
The thing is you have to reattune to it, so it's going to be like
Takes an
a
hour.
short rest.
yeah. Okay.
So it's only an hour. If you're, as long as it's not something that's like they're running away, I need to talk to them right now.
But I do have tongues. Like if you're worried about the party or you're worried for you, like I have tongues through Ethereus, so I could do it once a day.
And if you
Okay.
get the spell slots, you can just cast it away. You go.
Sorry
Something to
think
consider.
about.
Not to take away your magic item, but it's also
At
now
level
something that you could sell.
13, ooh, at level 13 rogue though, you get another archetype feature. Your roguish archetype feature.
Was that your panache?
Tough. We also have, I'm kind of leaning towards that cool dragon scepter thing.
I don't remember what that does.
Oh, you get your
Um,
13th elegant maneuver. Is that what you get?
So the dragon scepter, while attuned by a spellcaster, you get advantage on
That's
initiative,
kinda cool.
and it can be used as a focus. And then it has those 3 spells: Summon Draconic Spirit, Legend Lore, and Fizzbam's Platinum Shield.
I'm gonna break for a minute. Fizzban's Platinum Shield is dope as fuck. I love that spell. It's one of my new favorite spells. From
I don't know much
the
about
new,
it.
The new Dragon book. Oh, it's so good. I made this specifically to put on it because I thought it was dope.
I mean, I don't know shit about casting spells, and I don't need a fucking scepter. Alana doesn't either.
This specifically requires attunement by a spellcaster.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's Hondo, Lav, Gorderai.
Alana, do you have anything that you're attuned to that you're not super like? I'm trying to think of 2. I have my bracers of archery, which are like kind of cool, but they just give me like
Yeah, you
a
should
couple
do
extra
some
points of damage, and if I have non-magical arrows, so like sometimes they're kind of useless if I'm not using my bow. If there's something cooler, cool, but a lot of this stuff is spellcastery, so I know a lot of it I couldn't use, and I know same with you. So
Yeah. What am I attuned to right now?
I think the belt and the hammer are 2,
I'm on
right?
Stormbreaker, Belt of the Tempest, and the tattoo. The masquerade tattoo.
I mean, that's the same kind of thing where like you could attune
Situational.
to it if you know
Yeah.
that like you're going to be somewhere for a day, and then swap it out if you're going to go into battle, because like what are the likelihood of
Yeah. Is Stormcrag attunement?
No.
Oh, great.
Oh,
That's
yes.
amazing.
Oh, wait. Yes, it is.
Okay.
It requires it, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
he's just the storm god right now. So much storm stuff.
Yeah, same with like the boots. I was using the boots for a while.
Oh,
I'm not
yep.
using that anymore. And then my hammer, which I'm not gonna use that anymore now that I have Stormbreaker.
Brock also did put in the chat that he's giving up his Ring of Evasion.
If anyone wants that, yeah.
If anyone wants that, that is a tight item.
Which
Succeed on a dex,
won't
right?
help Kevin. Kevin, you don't need to.
It
worry
won't help
about
Kevin. No.
Kev, you should
It could help Allie or I.
that. Yeah. Allie, Val, actually, honestly, evasion is super tight. It's worth having for anybody.
What am I attuned to? Pearl of Power. Oh, that's my like, what's it called?
Get an extra
Let me swap
third
that
level
out. Aetherius and Warden of the Fae. So I'm really just playing with one slot here. I think I'll do the dragon thing. I think that's pretty cool. Advantage on initiatives will be pretty clutch. So I'm going to look that up.
Extra spells. The Draconic Ward is useful, and there's no limit to it.
How do I
Crusher.
spell that guy's name, Kyle?
Copy it. Jalarzi. It is going in the chat now.
Oh, with a J. Great.
Okay, so while you guys finish divvying up which items you want, what you want to attune to, what you are currently attuned to, and then what you are just all still processing physically and mentally from this harrowing adventure, you all just pass the fuck out. Now you go and you find your rooms, you go to sleep, and kind of all agree to reconvene in the morning, hopefully a little stronger. And we'll come back after a break. Hope you're enjoying this week's episode. If you like what we're doing here, check out the other videos on our YouTube channel, including D&D tips, discussions, recaps, character interviews, and more. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Hexplorers DnD, or join us in the live chat when new episodes premiere on YouTube each Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for watching. Now back to the episode. So, rested, fully rested and recuperated. A night's rest in the Platinum Sanctuary is rejuvenating, and you awaken feeling quite powerful as everyone across the board hits 17th level in various multi-classes. Do we want to go around and say what everyone did very briefly and then do some hit points?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, why don't you summarize it quick, Kyle? Because you have a pretty good idea. You can do it efficiently.
If everyone's cool with that.
Hell yeah.
Very quickly then, our Alana Brawlin took her 10th level in Fighter and took Hold the Line, getting basically free Sentinel, and she's going to fuck my day up. Mary took an ASI to get Mage Slayer, and she's going to fuck up all my mages. Valentine took Bard once more and continued that path to gain an 8th level spell slot, and it's going to dominate all my shit and fuck my shit up. Hondo is continuing down the Bard path, interestingly enough, getting himself some 3rd level spell slots, increasing a little bit of his Psychic Blade ability, and his Bardic Inspirations when he uses those is going to pump up and regain on his Font of Inspiration. So lots of changes Bard-wise for Hondo. And of course, Gord, our solo multi-class 17th level Warlock, gets his 9th level Mystic Arcanum with a super fun, gonna fuck my shit up True Polymorph. That's actually super interesting. Finally, as everyone is 17th level, Proficiency 6 increase, so everyone's proficiencies bumping up. And for those of you who have expertise, really bumping up. That's crazy. Big, high levels. But finally, let's do our hit point rolls. So, 10s for our fighters, 8s for everyone else. On a 1, you re-roll.
Do I do real dice or do I trust you?
If you got real dice, roll them. Fuck digital dice, except for Kevin.
Okay, I'm gonna grab it. I'll be right back. Rosie's asleep right in front of where I keep my dice. So you know what? D&D Beyond, you've never let me down. There's never been a moment.
Be a two.
Don't say that.
So okay. I'm rolling.
I'll wait.
You're a D8, Kev. If I'm not, Bard's D8s. Warlock is a D8.
What did you get, Mary? Why are you so happy? Why are you so fucking happy?
10.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Allie, did you roll?
I rolled a 9.
Motherfucker. I'm gonna get a 1. A 1 and a 2 for sure.
Brock and Kev and Scott, D8s all around. Let's hit it.
Kev, go.
I was so tempted to cheat and say something else. But,
that's a reroll.
No. So you reroll. You reroll a 1. Good karma.
That's exciting.
3.
Okay.
What did you get, baby?
A 3.
Okay.
3's for the boys.
Come on,
D&D
3's
all around. Come on, you got to hit 3.
5.
Middle of the road, a little above average. Not bad.
So that's what we add to our hit point?
So if you go back into the character manage character and levels, top right, there's your manage HP. It already includes your con mod, so just increase rolled HP by whatever it is you rolled. Okay. So for you, 79 up to 82.
Wow, a 5. What a day.
So that brings our group totals. Allie is high 200s or 230 something, right?
Oh God.
220?
No, currently I'm at 210.
210.
Yeah. So with this, it'll be 219.
Everyone's still above 100 though, so that's good.
Wait, Kyle, let me add my bardic to that roll. Let me just pull it.
It's for fun. Regardless though, as everyone does awaken, feeling rejuvenated, feeling powerful, feeling strong, attuned all across the board to relics of the Fate Sworn. The party, the Wildcards, grown strong, but you still have a lot to do. Primarily, I'll recap for you events to immediately figure out. You've got a war front on which the Basically, the Crown of Xander is looking for your input, which you had promised to kind of get some information, which you now have several important pieces of information to translate. I'll also point out, kind of in our rush to get out of the tower and onto these things, Alana, your vision has yet to kind of be translated to the rest of the party, as all the things that you saw in the potential future, though our players kind of know, in theory, the characters don't necessarily know that you were not shown, something to torment you, but something to aid you in the hall, the mirrored halls. So just keep that in mind. But you have a warfront to kind of provide your input on. The Xandran forces are looking for basically where you want them to set up shop. They have made, as far as you know, made their way south. The Vale forces and the Dwarven Red Guard forces are presumably all kind of converging, but still kind of awaiting a final designation of what you guys want them to do and how and where you want them to do it. You don't have, full control, but they are very much looking for your input, and you have some information that could change where they go. And you are currently, let me pull up the specific calendar. You just rested.
Scare me every time you pull up the calendar. It's just stress. Just means it's like always less time than we think we have.
I think you have more time than you think right now. Still not a lot, but today is currently the 11th of Hamatil, and the 4th seal, the full moon, is the 26th. So you still have a solid, 2 weeks plus. However, like I said, you have to talk to the councils to talk about the warfront. You have your own discussions kind of in party to see what you guys have thoughts and plans for. However, the final piece of this little puzzle here for Mephistopheles' plan is to make your way down one of multiple paths, but seemingly the path of pain heading on to Sigil, the City of Doors, seemed to be the most appealing one, to seek out the true name of Asmodeus, whatever it may be. Just a quick reminder, that plan posited by Mephistopheles was that the Lady of Pain, who's kind of the deific ruler of Sigil, is a being almost of deific proportions and almost unknown. Any information about her is unknown, and she seems to be as old as some of the gods, maybe even older. She's a creature, a person, a figure of such intrigue and mystery that Mephistopheles almost assured, at least in Sigil, if not from herself, you could find any hidden knowledge such as this. No guarantees, but that's what he said, and it's pretty smart, so you never know. Other than that, now with Azuth's fate in hand and kind of having an idea of how the temporal displacement element works, you can now kind of begin to formulate your plans as well, and kind of have a little bit of wildcard warfront battle plans with the 4th seal and the Gate of Hell and all that comes with it, as you all begin to reconvene with a beautiful fruit breakfast spread put on by Uth. Damascus and him just kind of sitting, eating and drinking tea, awaiting your arrival. What do you guys do?
Well, we know we have to go to Sigil in the City of Doors, but maybe we should go tell the council how to prepare first, because they can do that while we're seeking out this information that we need to seek out. By the way, out of game, no one say anything about what we're actually doing, because we made a soul binding contract with that devil, so mum's the word.
If we do need to say something about it, we'll have to excuse ourselves, so it's just us, essentially. And it should be also out of game. I've kind of already said this. Let's not talk about any of this stuff anywhere. Anyone could potentially scry on us. So we know this place is safe, and we think, according to the mages and all that shit, that the council room in Whitethorn Hall is probably more scry-proof than other areas. But obviously, that's just more of if we're going to talk about anything having to do with battle plans, any of that. Let's be vague unless we're in one of these two places.
Well, also
just in case.
We'll also have to figure out how we say this then to the Lady of Pain. Like how we tell her the info we need, why it's important. We'll just have to be careful about what we say. Probably not bring up that person we talked to about this.
Albert?
Yes, Albert.
Yeah, Albert.
That's
his
our
name
new code. That's our
was
new code
Alfred.
name
His name was Alfred.
That's what I think of him. I don't even care to remember his real name.
Well, our code name for so and so is now Albert. That's just thanks, Hondo.
God, I want to sing cooler, like some sort of like, I don't know. I don't even know. Albert it is. What was I going to say?
We have a bunch of decisions to make. We need to decide where we want people to go and what our plan is. We don't know a lot about what we're up against here. We know
nothing.
We know nothing.
Right. So I'm trying to.
We don't know what we don't know, which is tough.
How astute.
I'm trying to say what I'm trying to say without saying we know now. We have to do what we need to do using that fancy ass staff.
Yep.
After shit starts going sideways. Shit needs to go sideways a little bit.
Yes.
However, it seems like there's going to be two moments here.
Sorry,
just
to intervene for 1 second. Are you talking in code because Uth and Damascus are there?
Kind of.
Okay, just pretend they're not there. It's just so much easier.
It's so rude though. They made this nice big breakfast.
What if they just both go pee right now?
Okay, bye.
Then you can just talk freely.
If we say anything about the contract, we avoided our contract and our souls belong to,
Yeah, there's some bad shit happened.
I have no problem with that.
I am totally fine with it for you. It is per person.
Conversation. It is actually per person. But if you want to have a private conversation, I put you there with Uth and Damascus. You can go elsewhere. You could have had this conversation in the library. You could have had this anywhere you wanted to. If it's just the wild cards, then you don't have to worry so much about this kind of secrecy element. If you want to engage with them, you have an idea that's where they are.
Okay, let's have a nice breakfast, then they leave. We're not meeting in the washroom. Let's stay in the courtyard.
Damascus
they can go read or something.
Goes to read, and Uth goes to water his peace lily.
That's a single peace lily.
So now that we can talk openly here, Teddy, I'm so sorry. Go play with Fern and Keith.
We know there are at least 3 moments here, right? There is the breaking of the Force Seal, which has to happen. That's the fight we have to lose, right? There is the he needs to get the staff. He needs the cat. I swear to God, neighbor cat is in the front yard again. He's driving me insane. Just I fucking hate this cat. It's really cute, but stop tormenting my cat through the window. So we know we have to let the Force Seal break, essentially, because step 2 needs to happen. Step 2 is there presumably somewhere is going to be a big ass tear in reality, and that's where hell's going to start kind of coming through. Presumably all our harbingers have to be there to make that happen. I don't know if it's automatic. I don't know if they have to do a thing, but they have to be there to make it happen. Since we've already killed one of them, I'm assuming they don't all need to be there. So, if we happen to murder one of them, or all but one of them, I'm cool with that. I would like to fuck them up because they fucked our lives a lot. There's a lot of shit that in my life that I can attribute to these people. So we do have to make a stand there. That is also where hell is going to start coming, because we need that to happen, right, Kyle? Hell needs to start coming through. That's the distraction that we need. So that is where we need all our armies. That is where we're going to lose a little bit. But those armies are going to need to be there, A, to make it look like we're fighting, because we are, and B, they're still bad guys. They're still bad people that if no one was there to fight them, would just go continue to fuck shit up elsewhere. So we do actually need our army there to hold back. And I think that's what we lean into when we're talking to people. We'll say, we can't tell you a lot about what we're doing. Don't worry about us. We're going to be there to help when we can. But there's literally a hell of a lot of bad people who are going to be there, and shit is going to look like it's real bad. Just
trust us.
Just keep as much damage, protect the world behind you. That's what we need you to do, is protect the world behind you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I want to clarify one element that I'm not sure. I just want to clarify that everyone is on the same page.
Okay.
The fourth seal, you all know because you've already faced it down once, succeeded. To your point, needs to break. Fourth seal is at Casterian in the bottom of the Raven's Eyrie. The whole shebang. You've already done that. The gate is not the same place.
Right.
The gate, which you know now.
And Gambino went to go look for it for us.
Gambino got you elements of the city of Thaluna and a little of the Corallar River, just like north of there, if you didn't want to pop in right there. But he got you elements so that you could guarantee teleportation 100% if ever you needed to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You've got physical confirmation, essentially. You can pop.
What's that
there.
place called? Do we know what it's called?
Thaluna, like T-H-E, like think the Luna, Thaluna. But there's also Thaluna is the ground city that didn't to what Gambino said and what you are aware of was almost like the first city of the Noldor Enclave, or at least of some elven society, similar to Casterian. It's an ancient old city. However, there seemed to be another city above, the watchful eye of Myth Andor, that sat above Thaluna as a arcane protector and city. That is what you know to be like, that's where the Noldor Enclave resides primarily. And it's almost like 1 and 1, 2, like Thaluna to the ground, Myth Andor above. Thaluna seemed to be the supposed and then confirmed site of the gate. So
the lower one.
The lower, yeah. To keep in terms of your spatial idea of the map and how far those two places are apart. Casterian, you know where Casterian is in the south. The Noldor Enclave is on the east coast and is easily approachable across open terrain, open field from Casterian to Thaluna by a couple of hours. It's not like 5 minutes down the road. It would be a couple of hours of march or ride, however it can be achieved, obviously very easily by magic. But there are two separate sites, just to keep that in your minds.
Is Myth Andor still a city that is functioning where we assume the Noldor Enclave is?
It's all an assumption right now. You have, because even the Sylvan are not connected to the Noldor. They have very faint, few and far between meetings. Every time you've spoken to them about them, they've been very like, we don't know what the fuck they're doing, because they kind of split from the rest of the natural order of the elven societies, and they went arcane, which was a little different than what all the other elven groups were doing. So they focused heavily into the arcane arts and into the study and protection and use of it, while the rest of the Sylvan and Vanyar and all the other elven tribes went into more natural paths. So because
that's what we need, though. If we could make our stand on Myth Andor, the high ground, I have the high ground, Annie. That would be a great stand for us. So we need to get some lines of communication open there.
The other thing, we don't know the actual distance. Like, wherever the gate is going to be is where we need to be, because that's where the Harbingers are going to need to be. And that's
I'm thinking the army, though. That's what I'm thinking. Like our peeps who are making their stand.
Right, but think about if Dor is on the ground and everyone's in a giant floating city that is hundreds of feet away in the sky.
You're not sure of scale. Like, you don't know how far up away.
That's fair.
You just don't know exactly, right?
Kyle.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Out of game, from like the vision I had, would I have remembered a scale?
You remembered a key piece of this puzzle. One of which being, as you guys are kind of talking, and you almost had to put that out of your mind to focus on the combat at hand, and then to get your friends free and save. Everything happened so fast, and now kind of pulled back into the moment, almost reliving that vision quest with your angelic guide. You saw the gate itself and the crater it left beneath a ruined city, as if it burst through the ground of a ruined city. You also saw a ruined, crashed city that may have once been a floating city, lying several hundred feet away, if not miles, like crashed into the earth. So you didn't see it in action kind of above anywhere. You saw as if the city crashed into the ground.
Okay. So I'll just kind of, as we're all sitting there, I'll be like, you know how when we were all pulled into our nightmares and everything? I was in one, but then Arathal showed up and saved me, and he pulled me out, which was great. And then he kind of showed me that we all die.
Great.
At the end.
Great.
Yeah.
Is that a vision of the future, or is that just a possible reality?
He kind of said this is what could happen, but it sounds like it might happen unless we change it. But it didn't look good. And I saw you all die. We all died.
Well, from what Gord's told us about that staff, maybe now we have a chance to change our fate. What if, hear me out, what if we could contact this Noldor enclave in Mythandor? What if they have a teleportation circle that then we could start moving some of the armies of the Redmane army, the Arendelle army, any of the Vale army, if they have access to that? We could start amassing our forces there instead of having them try and make this trek marching all south. And whether we can change the fate of this floating city crashing or whether we can have the army there. Probably, did you see the gate open up? Like, where was it in relation to the cities?
It just was like, it looked like it came from the ground.
So it might be scary to be in that lower city then, if it does just like summon there and hell comes out.
But I mean, that's where we'd need people to stop things.
So they're marching on Castirian now because they know they got to get the fourth open. But maybe we could send.
There, right? They've taken the city.
Yes, you're right. Maybe we could send a strike team. We need to get in contact with Mythandor, and then we need to get some eyes in the Luna to see, like, could we possibly booby trap some of this? That when they do pop out, they could, we could just chew them up. Basically, like, what they have to do is stall for time while we do the impossible.
We can scry on a place. We can regularly. Yeah, just not it has to be a person or a place.
I've just never seen it before.
You have a piece of it.
That's true. That's kind of cool.
I mean, we technically also have two pieces. We could decide which one we want to keep. We could give the other one to one of our wizard friends, and then there's a couple people who can take people there and maybe collect more samples to, I don't know. I agree, we need to find a way to start getting people there quicker than walking.
Why don't we...
Sorry,
go for it. No, you go for it.
One thing we need to decide is, what are we doing in Castirian?
Yeah, I know.
If anything, it is partially, we need to make it one side. They've taken the city. How the fuck would we possibly get in there to fuck with the fourth seal and get our asses kicked in the meantime, and then have to go fucking fight who knows when? Elena, what time of day was it?
I think it was like close to the afternoon, maybe evening. Was it?
In the vision? Sorry?
Yeah, in the vision. Yeah, what time of day was it?
No, it was the night of the full moon, almost to dawn.
Almost to dawn. Okay.
Same evening.
What if it's not Go for it.
That's all I was just going to basically say is it's the same night.
What if it's not a fight?
Which one?
Sorry, I just cut you off twice. What if it's not a fight for the fourth seal? Like, what if we try and we fake a parlay with them where we come to the city, we don't teleport in, and I don't know, we try and fight, but we just, I don't know, try and send a message that's something like, we realize you're going to win this. What can we do? We want to protect people. We don't want to be enslaved. What if we try and make it seem like we know we're losing? What if we make it seem like not all the wild cards have survived, that we've tried to get these relics, but not all of us have made it? And we're just trying to make the most out of an impossible situation that we know we're going to lose. Try and trick them. I don't know if it's playing the ego. I mean, when I think back to these encounters with Raymond, he's all about law and balance, stopping the chaos. But what if we try and play into that? We want to stop this chaos too. We know this fight will just result in like more death. How can we and so if that's the fourth seal fight, some sort of, we try and make a plea, and then they unlock that, and then we're like, oh shit, we'll have to fight you at the gate. And then that's when we make a stand there. I think what you're insinuating, Mary, I don't want to teleport us in to that Raven's Eyrie, just like in the belly of the beast, try and survive that, launching spells and stuff, and then try and get out. Just be like, we'd be wasting some magic. Just trying to look for alternatives.
I agree. I don't really want to fight there. My thought is faking trying to get in there and failing. Yeah. And we can't get in there, so it's fine. We'll see you over there, because we're going to have a fucking army there. We can't hide that shit. And that's where we really hold our stand.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
I think we're on the same page there. The question is just, what do we do there? We don't have to make that decision right fucking now. The question is more, what we have to make right now is, what are we doing with the armies? But that's absolutely something we need to think about.
I think we should go to Arendelle, meet the council again, and talk about an army plan. At least get some things in motion, some scouts over in the Luna, see if we can open up some sort of communication with Andor. And then once we start to get that info going, then we got to make a trip to Hondo's new mistress, the Lady of Pain. And I can't wait. We've been hinted at this. I can't wait for what her ask is going to be for this information. So, Honda, I hope your loins are ready, because this is going to be real.
You assume it is just going to be me. She may want more than one.
We don't know anything about her. That's what drives me nuts.
No one
knows. I'm sure we're going to get up there and she's going to be like, cool, what are you going to offer me? And we're going to be like, I don't fucking know, because we don't know anything about you.
Let's also, maybe we should set aside a couple of items that in case we need to barter, we can offer.
We have already been told that she doesn't give a shit about it.
Yeah, she doesn't care about material possessions.
It's going to be favor. It's going to be information.
Souls,
it's going to be something fucking big. We don't know.
How about 50% of everyone's soul?
What? 50%? No. What if we could... this is scary. I don't know if we want to tell more people about this. The information we got from Carval, where we met Carval the last time, is that something we want to dangle without revealing too much about it?
Speaking of which, we have those fucking spell books that you need to go through.
We also have that, remember Albert told us about the spell that we have to do, which could literally make us go insane. That's so far ahead of us. Don't even worry about that. Don't even worry about that. Let's focus on now. I say we teleport to the council and start getting information.
I agree. I think there's the more I like your idea of trying to get eyes on or communication with. We'll have to see. We know a lot of the Vale is in shit right now.
Shambles.
So we have to come up with alternatives to people moving in a way that's gonna, and potentially, not only that, we know that they're moving through the Underdark.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to not only help our people, but hinder theirs?
Mm-hmm.
What are ways that we can start thinking about? We don't have to finish this right now, this conversation, but maybe if there's anything we can set in motion in the days leading up to this battle, fucking sabotage. Like espionage. I know fucking espionage people pretty fucking well, and I was brought up on espionage for a while. We need to hurt them somehow.
Well, we could use Edenfall Council, espionage, all that good shit, in combination with the people of Haverfeld who work the mines, who know a little bit about underground tunnels. We could lean on that to try and stir up some shit in the Underdark. Let's go to Arendelle. You guys cool with it? Let's get our things.
Absolutely. Is there anything else we need to say here? Any other information? Alana, anything else from that vision that you remember?
Just that, we were all dying, the whole blah, blah, blah. It seemed hopeless. So,
did we die cool deaths? Like, who had the coolest death?
Hondo got thrown.
Did Hondo try and teleport onto He Must Not Be? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and try to ride him, and then...
That seems like it will happen regardless, so...
Yeah.
That's how I know it's a true vision. Okay.
I do have a question. I'm just reading my notes of what I had in that vision when Allie was going through it. I saw something, I wrote down something. The city destroyed. In the distance, a sparkling, like, red bubble crackling over another area. Did I write that down right?
Yeah, that would kind of be what looked like the other city falling.
I understand. Okay, so that was something about the top city falling and burning. I understand. For some reason, in my brain, I was like thinking it was like a shield around something, and I was confused.
Kind of is, but it would be
the end of a shield.
Okay, I get. Oh, it's like in the last Harry Potter movie where.
Well, what that does tell us, though, in your vision, Brawley, thank you for this extra information, is that city lives and there's people in it who have arcane powers. So we should talk to them because they could certainly help.
We should give them a heads up. They should not be on that city when it's fucking falling so that they can be doing other shit.
Well, we don't know if it falls. Like, that happened in that version of reality. But
look, I think we should probably operate on the assumption that a lot of the bad shit that's going to happen will happen, and we need to plan for it. We can't go into this shit hopeful and excited and thinking that everything's going to go our way, because things are not going to go our fucking way.
But we can't tell people too much about what happens, because
we don't have to. We don't have to.
Prying eyes might be like, how do you know that? You know?
No, I agree. But we need to assume that some of the worst shit's going to happen, because it's going to. So how can we save as many lives as we can and protect as many other people as we can so that we can still accomplish what we need to?
If you assume the worst, you'll never be disappointed. Right, Hondo?
Absolutely.
It's the Hondo the Blue family motto.
Okay,
all right.
So time to go home. Anything else we need to ask Damascus or Uth? These rest of these items, I guess we can also kind of add a game, decide who gets what, because I don't think we need to rate the second.
I am curious about that. Did you guys come to any decisions of the item attunement swapping? Or is that still...
I'm going to drop Pearl of Power and take...
Dragon Scepter?
The cool Dragon Scepter.
Okay.
Kevin, what do you take?
Hondo?
How did you decide?
What you want, Boo?
I'm going to take... So, tell me one more time what the robe is again.
So the robe is a robe of stars. It can pull you into the Astral Sea as an action, and you can pop back as an action, and you're just there. But it's just you. you can, as an action, basically pull one of the 6 stars off and throw it off, and it becomes like a 5th level magic missile. So it's like casting magic missile at 5th level. It is basically, that means 8 darts or missiles automatically hit up to 8 targets. Like you can hit one, you can hit all at once, or 8 different targets with 1 each. Magic, and it auto hits. So that's a cool ability of magic missile, and you have that on there. Up to
I'll take that.
8 times or 6 times. Sorry, I think there was another element to it. Maybe I'm
it
wrong.
Says. Let me pull it up.
So you get a +1 to bonus of saving throws as well. Just all of saves.
+1 to all saves.
I'm taking it.
Okay.
What are you dropping, baby?
The ring.
Okay.
The ring of
So you can always attune back to it if you want to later.
Yeah, you still have it. It's still in your possession. You can swap back and forth. So you're going to attune and wear the robe of stars. It's very superhero-esque of you, just like Hondo with this.
Do you put these things in your equipment or your backpack?
Equipment.
Yeah.
If you're like holding and wearing it, I would put it in your equipment.
Okay.
Yeah, I have like stuff in my backpack is like my rations and my rope and shit you don't carry on you.
Exactly.
Can you tell me what I'm missing? I was just going to go through them quick. It's Wand of Protection, Quicksilver.
Yep.
Oh no. Oh, my device timed out. I'm okay. Thought my screen was dying. Wand of Protection, Quicksilver Rod, Otto's Dancing Rapier, Healing Staff, Dragon Scepter, Robe of Stars. Yep. Oh, and then is it Bracer of Illusion, and that's it?
Illusionist Bracers. You have an animated shield. You have the Arcane Arm. And technically,
that's it. Big Speed's Arm. Gotcha.
Animated Shield, Illusionist Bracers, Arcane Arm, and technically the Staff of Greater Healing also has the Mastery Gem, but it's all
like the 2
piece.
things. Gotcha.
What is the bracers do again?
That's the double cantrip thing.
Oh yeah, that's something that I think would be good for Lav, honestly.
As an action, if you cast a cantrip as a bonus action, you cast the exact same cantrip. So the idea was you could do double minor illusions to get visual and sound, or double sound or double illusion. However,
or double firebolt.
You can double any of your damaging cantrips with an action.
Double Eldritch Blast.
It's pretty good, but it does cost an illusion just to make an extra cantrip around.
Admittedly, the shield is interesting. Help bust up AC. That's something that either Alana or I could. I mean, most of this stuff is pretty Magic Key specific.
You should take one, Mary. You should drop your bracers of archery and get something.
Right. The question is, what?
Let's chop your arm off. We can give you that.
You can.
Everything about me is my hands.
I know you guys aren't going to use it, but you would have identified it. So let me tell you what it does. Because you would have identified all of it, right?
Yep.
So it's a prosthetic appendage that was developed by Bigby, who was in need of an additional limb, an arm, but it will magically form a copy of your appendage, and you can use it, and it attaches to your hand or hand, wrist, elbow, shoulder, whatever it is you need to fix in the arm region. Fully capable part of your body. You can take an action to remove it or attach it, but it has 3 charges which can be used to make 3 different magical jets of elemental force that it will like transform and become like a cannon and fire off an acid jet, a fire jet, or a frost shot, and each of them are like 3 different types of attacks that like become like this armed cannon of acid,
it's like a cyborg
fire,
thing,
or frost. Yeah, it's dope.
Like Barrett
Teen
from Final
Titans
Fantasy.
Oh, cool. That's neat. I'm not gonna chop my arm off.
No, I don't recommend.
Good to know.
But it's cool.
That is.
What about the dancing shield?
Admittedly, the 2 things that are interesting that I could potentially use would be the dancing shield or the rod. The rod is like an out of combat thing, honestly, but the dancing shield could also potentially make me harder to hit. Does that something, Kyle, like the sword, where it only goes for so long and then you have to have a free hand, or no?
I think it's a minute. I'll pull it up. You speak a command word as a bonus action to cause it to animate. It hovers in your space to protect you as you're wielding it. Remains animated for 1 minute or until you use a bonus action to end the effect, or until you are incapacitated or die, at which point the shield falls to the ground, or into your hand if you have a free one. So after a minute, you could put a sword away and catch it. And most combats don't last that long. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just more if you get knocked out and you're in the air, it becomes a problem.
Just, I mean, not that this affects you, but just for if anyone's considering it, you can only benefit from one shield at a time. So you can't have shield in hand and
I never use a shield because I need both my hands.
I know, that's what I said. It didn't really affect you, but something to just clarify.
So what is it, a +2?
Yeah, just a regular old shield, but you still have to hold it. So
23. It would bring me to a 23.
Do it. Use a bonus action to kick it out there.
Do it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take that for now.
Okay. It's just animated shield is all it's called.
Yeah. Allie, I don't know. Sorry, I don't remember. You said that you have a lot of stuff that's in attune because your relics are kind of a 2-in-1.
Unfortunately, double up. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
and then
good.
Stormy Crag. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're good then.
Teleport.
Is it just called animated shield now?
Yeah. Teleport or teleportation circle?
Let's just use the circle quickly.
Okay. As you guys begin to depart and bid farewell to Uth and to Damascus and Teddy, of course. Keith coming along for this ride?
Yeah, I think it's okay this time.
Hell yeah.
And Fern, of course. But
yep.
Fern's positioning matters far less than Keith's. Fern can come back.
Poor Keith.
You guys, at any point, make your teleportation circle and make your way to the College of Whitethorn. However, I didn't take a break when everyone else took a break. I have to pee very bad.
I had to pee again too, so it's all good.
Yeah, so let's take just a very short break. Literally go pee, come back.
Come right back.
We're back. You guys finish the teleportation circle and step fully into the College of Whitethorn.
We should message. We really should tell people we're arriving before we just show up.
To do that though.
They did give us 2 scrolls, but I'm saving them for a special occasion.
Oh wait, as a bard, Scott, do you have access to the spells? If you just wanted to take sending?
Yeah, probably, but I don't want to. That's lame.
Yes.
He's so useful.
No, I arrive places. I need someone to announce me. I don't announce myself.
Oh God. I mean, I have a rock, but it only goes to one person. So does Alana.
I used to have that cool raven that would just fly around and deliver messages
one month at a time.
Yeah, and be like, go send this across the continent. Hey, we're here. Let's just fucking walk outside.
Is anyone around?
At this hour, it's very early. Nobody comes immediately to greet you. And as you make your way out of the teleportation circle room, you're kind of in that upper quadrant of the college. And it's kind of quiet for a short period of time. And then you do see, a figure, a door open, and a floating figure make its way out of the headmaster's office that is basically right across from the door to the teleportation circle wing. And you see a gnomish Eli kind of in his little floaty cross-legged position kind of make his way out and says, I had expected someone else. Do you not message if you arrive?
Who else were you expecting?
Well, that's none of your concern. What are you doing here?
Nice to see you too, Eli. Wow. I don't know, just saving the fucking realm? What are you doing here?
From what were you saving the realm from this early in the morning?
You not in the council room where we talk about all the crazy shit we have to do that we can't disclose?
No, I wasn't there.
Oh, well, I'm sorry then. This must seem awkward. We're just doing stuff.
Okay.
Eli, we do have something for you that I think might interest you. I'll reach in the bag of holding and I'll take out Otto's rapier. Not the shield, but I'll take out Otto Silverthread's rapier.
Kind of floats his way over towards you and looks up and down at the blade. It's quite a nice blade.
Hold it. It's not cursed.
Very warily kind of looks at you and you see this flash in his eyes. And then he picks it up and it's kind of certainly magical. I think I recognize this style of weapon. Did you need an identification or?
I think you should identify it because it's your birthright. This rapier belonged to Otto Silverthread.
He kind of just blanks for a second and then looks down at it, and you see another kind of flash on his eyes. And he now kind of holds it a little bit more reverentially. Where did you come by this?
The Alabaster Tower.
You found it.
We found it. We found it. We found what happened to the Circle of Eight. Believe it or not, we may have found out what happened to Mordenkainen. But, yeah. We thought that belonged to you.
Now I feel very foolish for being so catty when you first arrived.
It's okay. We have a cat in the group.
I also apologize for the use of catty. I should
It's
refrain. Thank you. As much as my ancestry is a sore spot, family is family.
That's right. We'd like to show you that tower. Now it's not a great time, but I think we definitely could use help getting it back operational.
That is a grand undertaking. But
no time soon.
No time soon.
I assume we have much to prepare for in the coming days.
Mm-hmm.
But it is something that, yes, I will take into consideration should we all not die.
Unless you don't want to see it. Maybe you don't want to see it, we can just never tell you where it is.
That seems harsh.
Just having fun. Just having fun.
I would very much like to, and I would, of course, happily aid in the restoration of such a tower, and plundering the secrets within could prove a great boon to our country, our realm.
I agree.
Does he seem like he likes us more?
Yes, I think that is fair to say.
I had such a rough start with this guy, so I'm glad we're making headway here.
You purposefully gave yourself a real rough start with this guy.
I know.
You
trying to ruffle feathers.
Him.
I thought one of them was a traitor, and I'm still waiting. There could still be a moment here.
Not the end yet.
Yeah. Eli, we have to meet the council and talk more about what's to come.
Allow me to send a message. And by the time
it's fine.
I'm going to do it anyways. I'm just telling you.
Okay.
I mean, there's people that need to be gathered. They might not all be there.
Which is why I'll send a message. By the time you get downstairs and into the castle, there's a good chance they'll be on their way. If you went, then you'd have to wait around for 15 minutes, and he looks over at Hondo and says, he'll steal something, and I'm protecting I'm protecting the king's items and the crown in general.
It's a good. We'll get coffee on the way and kill 15 minutes just in case. Yeah.
That's a good idea. Stop in.
Hondo can try and sell that huge automaton ring that we took. Yeah.
We get some money out of that.
I mean, you could also probably get some magic out of that from these peeps.
What is that? I'm not sure I want to.
No, you want it. Take it. For a price, of course.
Can I see it first?
What a salesman. What a salesman.
Yeah, look, it's like a shield. It's gold.
We'll pull it out of the bag of holding. This would not fit in your cape.
Let me look something up real quick.
It is a nuclear bomb that explodes.
Shit. Look up. What's it called?
Soul ring.
Maybe he could make a new one.
I know.
Oh
I
my
want an
God.
army of them. Man. Gambino got his army of Warforged from. I think did he get him from Mechanus when he stole the ship?
Gambino?
Yeah.
My headphones cut out. Sorry. I don't actually remember. I think you did. You did ask him where he got them, and I
think
just
he said
don't
he got
remember
the
what he
ship
told you.
from Mechanus, or that was part of the
No,
deal.
the ship was stolen from
That's
the
right. The
Astral
gift.
Sea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eli looks over the disc, which is faintly kind of marred and not rusted, but definitely weathered. And as you kind of show it, he mage hand it up and kind of up and near his eyes, and you can see he kind of pulls down these jeweler's loop that he affixes over one eye and looks it over, and it slowly begins spinning as he's kind of identifying it. You can see a couple of flashes in his eyes as he says, this is it's hard to explain. It's not necessarily worth a significant portion of funds beyond its pure gold nature, but it's a piece of something, a contract that in itself is worth a significant amount. By my understanding, this was forged in the halls of concordance in the city of Sigil. There's elements of the plane of Mechanus and the cosmic enforcers of the inevitables scribed within. It's a binding contract between two parties, one of which appears to be Mordenkainen, which would explain, I suppose, where you received this. However, the other, between this inevitable, who this should be attached to.
You're saying inevitable a lot. Inevitable was the thing that this was attached to, you think?
Precisely.
And you think this came from Sigil?
Precisely. The Hall of Concordance, to be specific.
The Hall of... What's the Hall of Concordance? Do you know about that?
As far as my understanding serves, it's an embassy of law in the City of Doors. One in which, in the days of old, when the Inevitables were first formed, the Lord God Primus, in amongst with the Lady of Pain and many other deities of law and order, created a series of constructs who would be bound for all of time to follow certain contracts, I suppose. When they fulfill, they are brought back to the halls and fulfill the new contract. But in theory, these contracts are for all time. The fact that you found one fulfilled, that's something of significance.
It was a lot of time. Kind of.
That's interesting. That's super, super valuable info.
And it could have value, if someone wanted to forge it and pretend it was theirs type thing.
Oh boy.
I'm thinking this might be valuable to us at this point.
Oh boy.
Considering our next stop.
Eli, do you know anything more about the Lady of Pain and Primus?
Not much more of the Lady of Pain per se, beyond some of the tales of her deific proportions and immense power, her rulership over the city, of course.
Of course.
Over Sigil itself, known to be a gateway between any and all planes. There was a planeswalker who I met early in my education. A fascinating woman, a follower of of a god of another realm, a world beyond ours. This connection point, as the Outlands and the Sigil connects to other realms beyond ours and other worlds, other universes, parallel and otherwise. And she was intriguing, of course. A skilled trader, an elf of a different make than any of ours in Vesaria. She was strong. She was powerful.
You say was a lot.
Well, I haven't seen her for many years.
Okay,
Do you remember her
just
name?
checking.
She had a particularly elven name, but not similar to that of our Vesarian elves. But she was known as, to my ears, the Maiden, the Plains Maiden. Servant of Joaquin, if I remember correctly.
Servant of Joaquin?
Where did you meet her?
I was on my walkabout, so to speak, in my early days of my education. I made my way to the Outlands to study the extraplanar forces. And she was a part of a caravan of traders.
That's gonna make her difficult to find. Essentially, any other information? She could be like an interesting person to talk to. She's been to a bunch of different places.
Well, I'm sure she would be. She has many a story. She was an interesting character. In truth, the only one I know to have access to a portal key. A way in and out of the City of Doors. Otherwise, without, you're looking... They like to call it the cage for a reason.
Cage.
What does that mean?
Well, I thought that was very self-explanatory, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I know.
If you go there, you're trapped
clarification.
forever kind of thing.
But without a key, a cage is more or less binding.
Of course.
So even if you have a way in, you may not have a way out.
I mean, the City of Doors requires a door, and a door requires a key. Without a key, that door is locked, and you are trapped.
Interesting. Fascinating.
Yeah, interesting.
Well, we should go.
We should get our coffee.
We should get it. I haven't really had my second cup of coffee, and the brain doesn't start going until I hit that buzz.
Would you care greatly if I held on to this and finished kind of understanding what it is this specific contract is saying?
Sure. It could be helpful.
We will have to
might
come
need
back
it back.
for it. Yeah.
It may take some time.
How long?
I would like it for a couple of days if possible.
Well, let's see. Hold on to it for now. We don't know exactly what our next day holds for us, but
I suppose I
see.
should, in fact, be devoting my time in other ways.
No, this is very important. I think this is very important.
I apologize.
We could charge interest.
I'm disregarding you.
Finally, an NPC gets it.
I am going to read over this for the next perhaps hour or two, just to see if I can understand it before I need to continue on with my day's activities. Whatever it is that the Crown requires of us. I'm sure actually, as I will send this message and you will soon speak with the Crown.
Mm-hmm.
Arthur and I are to head south in the coming days to aid with the warfront. I imagine you'll learn as much beyond here. So perhaps my focus should be elsewhere.
This honestly is important and could help in the fight. So don't feel any guilt about spending some time on it. But yeah, we'll learn about the plans and see if we can add our own expertise and wisdom to how we should proceed from here.
Excellent. In that case, I will... I'll take a look over and see if there's any other information to suss out that could prove useful, or at the very least intriguing.
Please. Please, yeah, that'd be very, very helpful.
I'll send that message now. And, don't forget to get your coffee.
Do you want one when we come back? We can pick one up on the way back.
I'm okay, but thank you very much for the offer.
You're so welcome.
Part of being one of the headmasters is instant coffee.
Don't they have a magical cafeteria here where, like, Lavender said she wanted ice cream and then she went and got ice cream?
There is. As you kind of mouth instant coffee, you just watch as he just kind of waves one hand and then just like coffee just appears in his hand in like a nice little cup.
Ord, do you want a milkshake before we go?
Yes. Vanilla.
Vanilla.
It's the best kind of milkshake.
For Gord
No,
the
I will
White,
fight you to the Kyle every time we go. He's like, I want vanilla milkshake. I'm like, that's just slightly melted ice cream. That's all that
I
is.
don't have time to get into it. There's too many takes here.
I have a straw. Do you have a straw? Drain it!
71 episodes later from when you first heard that.
We all come back round.
The milkshake joke finally pays off.
I have a straw. There it is. You see? I go all the way over here.
Oh, God.
As you guys make your way down through the tower, leaving Eli to his coffee and this strange contract disc. Gather some coffees, some milkshakes, and make your way out of the tower, passing by some of the student body that you do notice with your passive perceptions is thinner than it once was when you were here last. Even in the when the tower was not even fully reopened. This is a significantly smaller group that you're seeing here. Maybe the early hour could play into that. Maybe the coming war front. You're not sure. But you make your way out of the tower towards the castle and are met by the guards who recognize you. They don't cause you any strife, but they ask you to kind of hold up while they go and make sure that basically authorities are around to chat with you. You have to wait inside for like 5-10 minutes. Normally this would be the time when like Galdrin would come and meet you, but it seems he has yet to return from Marrakesh. Nonetheless, a page meets you, and you are brought to that same war room that you were brought last time when you met the Sylvan Synod. And as you are brought within and led down the stairs into this recessed war room, it's warmly lit. The fire in the hearth is aglow, and torches around the room. This candelabra over top of the table, which you can now see was once kind of a mess of papers and maps, is now a singular map focused on the south of the continent. You can see the Vale detailed much more than you've properly seen, likely with aid of the Sylvan Synod. And you can see Verdantia well plotted, and the whole east and southern coast, all the way over to the Twilight Mountains. And you can see there are a number of various colored kind of blocks and markers all across this map that you can see at a glance, likely indicating amassed forces. Sat on at the head of the table, kind of fingers steepled, and you can see a steaming cup of coffee before him. You can see Malcolm Galarian. He is currently alone as you enter. It's just him. But as he looks up from his coffee and looks up from the map, he says, "Welcome back. It's good to see you all in one piece. Looking rested, hopefully looking successful and with a plan as promised of some kind."
Nice to see you, Your Highness. Yes, we were successful in what we needed to do. And part of our preparations still need to continue, but we did want to contribute to this plan.
Yes, when last you were here, you had said that you would spend the next few days. You had information that would hopefully aid our designations and my call to our armed forces on where they should best position themselves and perhaps what insights you may provide. And of course, I have promised that I would do the same to you, and I will give you our full battle breakdown and plan. how many of our troops and from where they all await. But before we get to business, is there anything you wish to have delivered here? Any coffee or breakfast? Or...
I think we're good. We had a milkshake and coffee on the way over. And you package Shondo, Brawley, do you want anything?
I mean, I'll always eat if there's food, so
Sure. Have.
Maybe it's
Milkshake.
He kind of just, with like a hand wave, the page who led you in just duffs his head and runs off with the door closing. You notice too, especially those of you with high passive perceptions, as the door closes, it's almost, when like a plane door closes and you can hear the seal closing, like the pressurization. It closes and it's just a regular wooden door, and yet it almost like seals the room. You can almost hear that suction. Just a good little assurance that this is a safe place.
How's Malcolm looking, like, morale-wise?
Make an insight.
Because last time we were here, everyone was real sad.
Well, yeah, there was a lot of bad things last time.
It was
Still
bad.
sad.
It was a bad day. Insight? My
The
insight
no good
is
bad day.
fucking crazy now. I mean, it was already pretty good. I rolled a 15, so that is 29.
Okay. As you look over Malcolm, you can see there are deep bags beneath the eyes. He's either losing a lot of sleep or barely sleeping at all. Just not a particular surprise. There's a war about to hit the entire world, but especially his people. And that's obviously distressing. But the weight of which and the timeline of which being such that it is, you can see it's wearing on him, but there's also like directly behind that weariness, there's determination. Like he is still the stout leader that you know him to be. But the weight of this is definitely hard, even on someone such as him. But you know that full well yourselves as well.
He's a goddamn king,
He knows what's up. He kind of gestures across the map before you. It says, many of our forces have made their way south to Verdantia and north of the Vale. I don't know if you care to know our numbers specifically.
Yeah, any info I think is valuable.
Then simply, our Exandrian forces from the north here number 20,000 men holding the northern line of the Vale. In amongst Verdantia and in the gap between the Vale, the north of the Vale and Verdantia. The enclave in Verdantia numbers 6,000. However, half of that number will be redirected to protection and aid for the civilian population of Arendelle and Verdantia and the Vale, its surrounding countryside, as they will begin shepherding them north in the coming days. North to Arendelle or onto the border towns of Haverfeld, who have opened their doors to our people seeking refuge. As the Exandrian forces have traveled south, they have spread word of war, and that they should prepare to travel north, if not off to the west to Haverfeld themselves. Along the northern border of the Vale, the Sylvan forces number, sadly, only 2,000, and the Lindar and Bladesingers number only 500. However, their might is near 10 times that. None of the Vanyar have made it north, or potentially survive at all. The Valar we know to be destroyed. And though word has attempted to reach the Noldor Enclave, there has been no response. We do not believe, I should not say we, the Synod, Lord Elisar, does not believe the lack of response from the Noldor to be opposition or downfall, but more their own protections, their own withdrawn nature. We have not...
I think we might have to pay them a visit and help them see the folly of,
In truth, a similar conversation has occurred on our side. Elisar is very much in the camp of wanting needing to unite the elven people. And sadly, I don't believe I am the figure to do it. It must come from elven mouths to elven ears.
Admittedly, it's not just uniting everyone. Shit is going to come to them real fast.
To the Nova.
To the Luna beneath them.
He looks over the map and says, my knowledge of the countryside south of here is scant. And he just kind of gestures for you to like kind of illustrate where. It is not marked on this map, or sorry, I should say Thaluna is, but you do not see Mythandor marked anywhere on the map. But you do spy Thaluna.
So if this is Thaluna, Brawley, if you can gauge some of this landscape, do you think you can pick out where Mythandor, the floating city, is, roughly? From where you saw it?
Yeah, I think so. It's about right here.
You can make a survival check to see what you can, if you can gauge.
Okay.
Where did this giant pile of burning city land from?
Right.
Here.
What is that? 14.
Pretty good.
It was difficult to tell. You know, you're obviously going from visual range in a vision to an above looking at a map. Scale is difficult to translate. From your vision, it seemed like the city would have been almost directly above and fallen east, so it would have come down. But the trajectory of the crash looks like it would have come down like less than a mile or two east of Thaluna. So where it came to rest, it's almost, on this kind of a scale of a map, it's almost just beside, like it would be right beside it. If not where, if it didn't crash, it would be up above. But it's just something to note that you don't see it on this map.
Mm-hmm.
Though Thaluna
probably
is.
hidden.
You do see Casterian, obviously. Like you see the other markers. However, as you also now kind of looking over this map as well, you see a large swath south of the Vale has basically been like scarred and drawn to show like barren landscape. Almost directly from the gap in Celestia's Gate east to Endora.
So remind us, is that is Thaluna north or south of that?
Thaluna is well south of Endora and southeast.
Okay.
So Thaluna would be in open terrain, wide open.
Right, but so that giant scar of hellfire is cutting us off, essentially.
Yes, exactly. That's right.
Okay.
Malcolm kind of sits back and kind of nods to you for pointing that out as he kind of continues and says, as I say, the Noldor is yet to be contacted, though. I'm glad we're in agreement that they should be informed, if not forced to aid in some capacity, as this may end up closer to their doorstep by the sounds of it.
On their doorstep. I think they are incredibly vital to this whole thing working, because that's where the last stand has to be. It's not Casterian. It's there beneath their city.
What lies there if not this final seal?
This Casterian.
Have we told you about the plan? What has to happen?
There was some illusions that were alluded to in the last meeting, in which we are to seem, or in fact to lose, and hopefully by losing we'll win.
That, I believe, number one, needs to stay an illusion, unfortunately, and two, that's not something you're going to have to worry about. The problem right now is Casterian is taken.
That is some of the information we have received. Yes.
Completely taken, to the point where that seal, the opportunity to claim that seal comes every month, comes every full moon. And we have come to the conclusion that we are not going to be able to hold it forever. In fact, we probably likely will not be able to hold it in a few weeks. It's that seal. There's a high likelihood it may fail. And we're not going to be able to get an army in there either. The city is overrun by undead. Your forces are going to be demolished before they even have to deal with, the actual forces we need to be fighting. The problem is when that falls, if that falls, when that falls, there's going to be a lot more going on up in Thaluna. When I'm assuming that is also where the forces of our enemies will be. Now that requires a little more scouting to ensure. But should the worst happen, that is where the big fight's going to be. What happens after the worst happens is going to be left to us. That's our fight.
Question to DM before you speak there. Is the contract solely concerning the plan to kill Asmodeus through, could we tell him a gate is going to appear there? Would that void the contract? Or
no, that's not part of the plan necessarily. Like the thing that would void the contract.
Yeah, okay, I just want to make sure.
Is saying anything about Mephistopheles. You mentioned his name, you're fucking lit up. Anything to do with the true name, the last word.
The word, yeah.
And even how you came to that kind of information, like anything about Carval's, involvement, shit like that. Like the fact that you're under contract and alluding, even getting too close to illusions starts even melting it. But talking about the fact that a gate will open, the fourth seal has to break, that's all fine. You can almost detail what the plan is in roundabout terms without saying how you came to it.
Yeah.
And so can't use the words you can't say we're going to go and use the last word on the devil. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
But exactly.
So like Mary's saying, we don't want to win the fight. We want to end the war. And part of that is knowing that it's a lost cause and we don't want bloodshed just for the sake of a fight in Castirian. What we do know is, Hondo wants a lot of blood. Post Castirian, we know that the armies of hell want something in Thaluna. They want to try and create something there to strengthen themselves. That's where we have to be to make sure we can fight against that. Our plan from there is to do crazy shit and to end this war. And that's what we've had to have been cagey about because, we're trying to do the impossible, but we have confidence that we will be able to.
Furthermore, we understand, obviously, there are magical protections in this room. We're very wary of our understandings of what's going to happen on our end reaching any ears. And admittedly, I don't want to burden you with that information as well. We can't burden anyone with this information. I understand it's frustrating to not know everything. Trust me, I fucking understand. I hate not seeing the whole picture. There are many forces. I don't mean big cosmic forces. I mean literal people on the ground. A lot of forces down there, and there are going to be more. They are going to be bringing more forces from hell. That's going to happen at some point. And
we've seen them do it before. They've opened gates to bring in more reinforcements.
And likely most of this is going to be happening in Thaluna. I know you mentioned last time we spoke, and I agreed with you, of not wanting to lose on purpose in terms of losing lives. That's not what this is. We're not asking anyone to sacrifice their forces. We're not asking any people to put their lives on the line for nothing, for a fake loss.
Hondo, we've talked a little about it.
In terms of armies, we're not putting the people who are volunteering themselves to help save the world, we're not putting their lives up for nothing. What we need those forces to do is stop these armies of hell, these armies that have devoted themselves to torment and anger and terror and their so-called law, they're going to fight for everything. That's what we need to protect. We need to stop them from getting into the rest of Exandria, for getting into the rest of the Vale, for burning the whole fucking place down, regardless of what happens with the people in this room. There's a line to hold, and we cannot hold that line.
I mean, do we really care if they burn the Vale down?
We do, and It's already kind of happening.
It's my fucking home.
Yeah. Lost half the Vale already.
We also have another plan, which I haven't even spoken up to anyone here. But Hondo, we all know you're some sort of Triton prince. And I think it's time to get the armies of the Tritons, claim your birthright, and to bring them to save us once and for all. We can get into it later. Malcolm, that line that Mary spoke about was, it's in Thaluna. And what we're pitching is, we need to use the Noldor Enclave and potentially win their trust and confidence to open up some sort of teleportation train of convoys, of armies, of supplies to make that the last stand. Because we don't want to be trying to march there right out in the open and get picked off by the bow as we try and cross that line.
Sadly, our forces are already there. They're
Well,
already
let's start
making
moving them. We can start trying to move them. We can move quicker than anyone.
Some of this may already be on the move. Perhaps we could readjust. We can readjust.
We're talking about taking a shortcut. It's not completely changing the plan.
No, I understand. I need to get one element straight, though. You want no force to engage Castirian.
Just us.
And our full force to hold this Thaluna, this eastern coast, and potentially parlay and agree and ally with the Noldor Enclave, should they be willing.
1000%. Right? This seems like the right plan, right? Wildcards?
I
don't want people to die just for the sake of dying at Castirian.
Do you perceive a force will be coming from Castirian to Thaluna, then? You will not be taking on... I should explain perhaps further as well. We have received intel as well. Our own spies and eyes in Castirian and the area surrounding. The Revenant Vow do indeed fully hold Castirian, and they hold it with a force numbering at least 10,000 openly. Another 50 or 100 could reside within the city walls and within the ruins. That 10,000.
There's also the Underdark.
We have reason to believe there are no forces further moving through the Underdark. There are no forces moving that have not yet been seen. Thankfully, we have the Red Guard and the forces of Haverfell to thank for the protections through the mountain regions. To finish with their numbers.
Mm-hmm.
From Haverfell, the Champions Guild itself is en route in full force, numbering 8,000 ready and fighting troops that aim to reach Verdansia and the Vale and rendezvous with our Exandrian force. An additional 2,000 Griffin cavalry riders are headed to pincer behind Celestia's gate within the next few nights, engaging and ensuring no further force will make its way through the gate. And on the day, they will ride in as a final stand. Their instructions were to make that final stand and attack Castirian. It may be time to reach them and change their course, but 2,000 Griffin riders and their mounts may be difficult to readjust. But of course, we will try. The Queen...
We have to go there anyways, yeah.
The Queen and her Red Guard are due to cross the Twilight Mountains and unite with the Bladesingers any day now, via the underground world. That adds an additional 15,000 Dwarven Red Guard.
15,000 additional? Oof.
Our numbers
I wonder if
roughly...
Lav's with them. She's probably driving them fucking crazy if she is.
We have not received word of Lavender's movements, though.
It's not
Surely
surprising.
not far from the Queen herself. The numbers reach into the 50,000 strong, all said and done. We still have yet to hear a positive swing from the Asmodean dynasty.
Yeah.
Colton and Galdrin have yet to sway the Sapphire Palace into joining this warfront. Colton seems to believe they remain as self-absorbed and withdrawn, though assures he feels that there is no ill intent or surprise attack from them. He doesn't believe them to have aligned, but simply indifferent to the cause.
And it's not the news we wanted, but it's better than the worst news.
I say we go there. Not before this next thing, but we should pay him a visit, just a social call, and see if I've learned anything. When I talk to people, they really like what I bring to the table. So that's something we should do.
I would like to caution that, if I can. In truth, you have all done an amazing service for this realm. I want to leave this in Colton's hands. I want to ensure he is able to maintain what political diplomacy we may retain after this. In truth, he may need it in the coming years.
We should go in and steal their relic. That could be like an interesting thing to do.
Seems like a very bad idea. If you believe it is truly useful, would rather not.
Something I don't know.
You don't want like
actually do
an international incident. I understand. What we do know for sure is we had a bit of a peek into what could happen. And what we do seem to know is it's all happening on the same night. This Casterian fight, and where we think the Luna is going to be the key to this all, happens the same night. So when we're talking about armies just being at one place, like I think eventually they have to be at the Luna, and we'd be wasting our forces by splitting them to just go to Casterian when the main fight's going to be there. I know all of their forces are there, but like how far is a march from Thaluna to Casterian?
My eyes are not particularly skilled at this. However, by Elisar and the Synod's assumptions, at a full march, at a fast pace, it could be done within a couple of hours.
So maybe
how
it is
does that
worth...
work out with our timing? Sorry, out of game.
It works.
Midnight, and then Allie was saying like early morning,
just before dawn.
Yeah, it works. So we could position some of that in waves to try and have fallbacks, like, you know, an hour outside of Casterian, 2 hours outside of Casterian, and just try and slow them down, fall back, slow them down, fall back, until we make our last stand at the Luna.
I'm curious to see, I guess there's no way around this. Not putting the forces in Casterian is showing our hand.
It's showing that we're weak.
Disagree.
What if we put all our forces in Casterian?
We've kind of had this...
A decoy.
Yes, but then what happens to all those forces, Hondo?
My concern is the forces will be eliminated, and if you seem to believe more will be coming from Thaluna than to Valentine and Mary's point, we were leaving ourselves open to a free attack and a free path north to innocent territory.
What I'm trying to say is, what you want, we want to direct them to one place, leave it undefeated, and then we come in from behind with our full force.
This, in truth, was part of our initial plan, was to have a focus front at Casterian, knowing, of course, thanks to your insights, that we would have to retreat and fall back. We were just waiting to see where that would be most advantageous from your eyes. Now that seems like that may not be our most advantageous move, to fall back for hours across to this Thaluna, only to re-engage on two fronts.
exhausted after marching
However,
and being picked off.
I disagree that showing no force is not showing weakness. It is showing part of our hand, though I don't necessarily think that is an issue. They know you're active in this world. And they know we're not simply lying in wait. Forces have been amassing for weeks. Their spies are just as well as ours informed.
Which is why I'm concerned about
engaging, and they know that we will be preparing. If they happen to know that we know where their end goal is, then there seems no reason for you to even engage them whatsoever. If we send no force, what's the point?
Yeah,
I mean it's fair. If they strategically decided to hold Casterian, we'll strategically decide, fine, we're going to take your next step. They took our next step, we can take theirs.
And that doesn't reveal... Go for it.
My apologies. My only concern is that leaves a full rested force of Revenant Vow, their harbingers and leaders, marching across, and potential secondary force striking from wherever else you believe there to be a secondary force from. If we're defending this point, we are being pincered by the maneuver. We're opening ourselves on front and back, and at full force on both sides. At least my initial belief would be, if we showed a force on the Casterian side, at least their numbers are weakened.
Where are they located?
Where who?
The Vow.
The Vow, in at least 10,000, are numbered at Casterian. They seem to be outside the city in the island that you had described before. This temple island and this inlet basin of dried sea, including the landscape around. They have also set up a significant barricade wall and likely have forces spread throughout the city, lying in wait.
I have a bad idea.
Could we launch some attacks on some of their positions initially, sort of disrupt them, cause shock to them? We don't sit back and defend. We go on the attack first. Take it to that.
This was part of my initial plan, and I defer to your better judgment, knowing these figures and the end goal. I truthfully will sit back and align with your goals, but oddly enough in this case, I actually align with Hondo.
Sometimes
there's a first time for everything. I understand it feels a little weird.
With a gem.
Yeah.
What if we did both? What if we had a harrowing force to try and weaken them, slow them down, had a bit of our forces in between Casterian and Thaluna, but had the bulk of our force in Thaluna itself, hopefully with the high ground of and the reinforcements of Mythandor.
A staggered force makes sense. Waves, this is not particularly a concern, just an admission. With a force of this veracity, this much planning, forethought, and ferocity, we're delaying the inevitable. They will break through. They will push. They will kill. Every wave they push through is hundreds, thousands of lives. I say this not to deter, but simply to recognize what it is we speak of.
We know that in order to save everyone, it is going to come at a cost. And I wish it didn't. But I think these are the costs we're going to have to pay here.
I agree.
I also believe that there might be ways to hinder those forces, or I hope there are ways to hinder those forces that are not at the cost of thousands of lives, and perhaps it's just a little bit more creative thinking. Something that, for example, it depends on how good we can get in there, but I believe Hondo pitched this. You know, you have to retreat over a mountain send the mountain down after them after we retreat past it. Finding ways to... This is up to us. I don't have any ideas specifically in mind. They're also fighting a huge horde of undead there that just gets worse and worse to the full moon. Let them fucking deal with that and have them pick their numbers off. If there's a way we can enhance that, great. We do not want our forces fighting undead on top of everything else.
I think we will, though. We've seen what Raymond can do. I think once he gets his hand on that scepter on the Raven Queen's thing, they're all coming with them.
This is my concern as well. They are not above necromancy in this group by all admissions.
How close is Casterian to the ocean?
Oh, that's such a bad idea.
I love this idea.
So
Let's go on. Yes.
On the coast.
Oh no.
We know a song that
I'm not even convinced this is actually going to work. I'm still convinced this is just a story.
We know a song that could summon the Kraken.
We recently pissed off a Kraken.
The Kraken is very upset with us. The Kraken is very upset with us. Hondo in particular. If we were to coax the Kraken to come and play in Casterian, it could be interesting.
It's settled. We're doing it.
I see no reason not to try, though. Singing a song and summoning the Kraken sounds like complete bullshit.
Yeah, I'm on your side there.
Totally, I wish it was.
Then again, stranger things have happened.
Wildcards.
You are, if nothing but wild. I say there's no reason not to try.
Yes.
Unfortunately, to Mary's point, given the speed at which we've had to travel and the short time that this has left us with few options in terms of war machines and fortifications, the elven fortifications and protections that would have been in place have been sundered and leave only open fields for battle. It's highly likely the Vow have war machines capable of holding off any direct assault upon the city from a direct line across these open fields. However, from the sea, from the city, I highly doubt they would expect any such attack, leaving them open from behind.
Mm-hmm.
And as to your point of creating barricades or creating stopgaps, traps along the way from Casterian to Thaluna, we have headmasters Eli and Arthur making their way in a few short days to survey the terrain and, in theory, begin preparing for such a thing. It will take a number of days for our forces to make their way south of the Vale and across this open landscape. And in truth, the fires have left much difficult conditions for traveling our troops through and for spying if our enemies have laid any traps for us. There could be beasts and anything lying in wait. Though, if our trajectory is to head east rather than south, I highly believe that they will not have prepared such a distance. It would have taught us more to make a direct assault. So this may save our forces some.
This is an out-of-game question. The gate gem apparatus. It can use gate, right?
Sort of. It's not the gate spell. It's a gate to open a gate to the 3 specific places that the gate gems are attuned to. So it's not like the full spell gate. It's a portal to three places.
From wherever you are.
From wherever you are to 3 places that I'm not 100% sure you've sussed out all 3.
No.
The Wildcards.
I'm wondering if that's a way to move people quickly, if we can figure that out. But we would have had to figure that out a long time ago.
I don't know if you could. You can open the gate, but you'd be taking them in an unknown direction. I mean, one of them, at least leads to Carval's like laboratory in the potentially astral sea far realm business. I don't know if you want to lead your armed forces through there.
No, that's a bad idea.
The other two
I was just trying to. Yeah,
we can see Ian. We can see Ian again there.
Stop in, shout Ian. See if he wants to join war.
Ian was a spooky eye monster who we chatted to.
Here,
in Carval's
all about it in our third recap video.
We should find out what those other two go to, just for funs.
I'm just trying to think of, we have shit and we've never used things like that we've never used, and trying to find a way to move some people, or potentially, not spring some traps specifically, but secretly, quietly pull in some forces. So like Hondo said, we can try to find a way to, gap them in from multiple sides, which is why potentially, if we can talk to, I already forgot the name of the city that's above Thaluna. What's it called?
Mythandor.
If we can get some forces to Mythandor, have them hole up there,
money.
Potentially that's a huge amount of forces that they could not even see or know about. That can get dropped on the last minute. However, we also have a little bit of intel that city is not going to fucking stay in the air. So that's something that we maybe.
That was the worst case scenario. I also don't want to die, which also happened in that vision. So there's a lot of things I don't want that to happen.
There's a couple of things in that one, but they all sounded very bad. I'm going to just
don't you worry about any of that.
So
Malcolm, yeah, we kind of have to. How do you feel about where we've left this? Because we still have things we need to get done.
Of course, I do not anticipate or expect you to be making these calls. You are here to aid us in making the right decisions, and then you are off to accomplish your own goals. I understand. And we'll see you on the day. Or maybe we won't. And that might be for the best.
We do actually have, we can make a decision internally, Wildcards. If it's helpful, especially for, I can't remember what we called them, our three mage friends.
The Triumvirate?
The Triumvirate?
Yes, the Triumvirate. We have 2 pieces of stone? Like, what was it that you got? That aid in teleportation. We only need one of those.
You have one piece of stone that would lead to Thaluna, but one selection of like rock and sand from the Corlar River to the north of it. So it's not like far. It would be a couple hours travel to this river down to Thaluna.
It could potentially get people a little bit closer, slightly safer, if they need to do that. And then, I mean, they can collect as much shit as they want up there, but we could potentially give them that.
Let's give them that one.
So that, yeah.
Pick them north.
Give it to Eli on the way out.
Give you guys the stray shot with the kind of piece of the ruins, piece of the rock. So let me recap, so to speak. You'd like the bulk of our forces to make their way to Thaluna. We currently have, and this is not necessarily my call, they are Baldora's fighters, but her Champions Guild and her Red Guard and the Griffin Riders, they have their orders to head to the western side of Castirian with the intent to strike from that side, and a potential plan for the Blade Singers to make a strike through the city from the east and pincer that way. Of course, these can be amended, redirected. However, ultimately, I control neither force. I simply control my Exandrian forces and the Enclave, and with the bend to Elisar's ear, the remaining Elven forces, including the Bladesingers. In my conversations with the Queen, she was thirsty for revenge.
That's not shocking.
However,
perhaps they are our tiered wave
fallbacks,
in-betweens.
I want to reiterate as well, if I reposition my Exandrian forces and those of the Sylvan to Thaluna, we begin making our hopeful reconnections or connections in the first place to Mythandor. We'll begin, whether you plan to make your own or not. We will attempt this path, try and connect to the Noldor Enclave.
100%.
make these connections. I'll send word to Baldora that she may reposition with the intent of not making a direct western assault, but instead making a tiered defense from Casterion across to Thaluna. Do you want any force to make an engagement on Casterion on the day? Or are they simply
I
all in
think
wait?
I think there's
perhaps,
a potential for... Sorry, go ahead.
I think we're probably going to say the same thing. Griffin Riders, potentially just like harrowing from above, but I don't think any direct assault is the way to go. I think it's guerrilla warfare tactics here.
Not on the island. I think attacking them as they attempt to leave it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
As they attempt to come out of the city. Yes, and I mean, if Baldora wants to have a pincer movement coming in from the fucking side as they're trying to move north, isn't a bad idea either.
I just don't want her to
have some tactics of her own to spring up on them.
I would just advise guerrilla warfare there.
What's that landscape like from what we remember north of... That's where the mountains are?
On the north of Casterion?
Yeah,
to
because
the
you have
west
to
of
move north
Casterion
from
mountains.
Right. I'm thinking
directly
what's in between.
From Casterion on the southern coast up to the Vale was more or less just kind of like hilly, like grassland. It was pretty much open, and there's some hills and stuff, but for the most part, it's like open plains. All the way, basically, that carries all the way from Casterion all the way to the east coast, where Thaluna and Mythandor would be. It was just south of the Vale. The Vale would hit. You guys marched basically about a day's march from like edge of the Vale down to Casterion over over terrain that's where you fought like the Shadow Dragon and shit. That was just kind of like open terrain. Now that open terrain is now marred with smoke and ash and still faintly burning fire, and now basically you've got a little less than a day's open kind of grassland. Then you've got a couple of days of just fucking ash and burnt forest that's heavy with smoke, making conditions not comfortable, obviously, for those who need to breathe. But you're no longer kind of traversing through woodlands and like the kind of difficult to traverse like Vale. So it's more or less open, right from where they carved a swath across down to Casterion and east and west up until you hit the Twilight Mountains. It's kind of open terrain.
So they're potentially also carved themselves an easy travel path between the two locations on the night.
Exactly.
It's up to us to make that path slightly more difficult.
Anyone coming to defend from the north, which was the intent.
That's where Baldora could come in, though. She could start holding that, make some pit traps, stone traps, whatever she can.
Let me question once more. On the day, do you intend to make a stand in Casterion? Or are you waiting to let them win and see what happens?
I think let them win, see what happens. I think we'll probably be there, maybe try and give them a couple of surprises, but...
Summon the Kraken?
I don't want to, I don't want to give it away, but yeah, try to. But I think
if we might be in that location in terms of sabotage and misleading. I don't think it's going to be a full stand.
No.
Understood.
We have much bigger battles to fight after that.
Mm-hmm.
Understood.
But a few less harbingers, not going to hurt anybody.
Yeah, we'll be like a strike team.
In that case, a tiered defense of Baldora's in our making, and then a final stand at Thaluna with hopeful protection from Mythandor as whatever may come. Lillian and I will be there. Elisar, of course, as well. Baldora will be leading her figures across this flaming channel. Let the gods watch over us.
Actually, speaking of Lillian, this is something that I didn't actually check with any of you. I think it was in a bag. I can't remember whose. Might be actually Gord's, because he took a bunch of the stuff from this room originally. Neavir had these. got them from a real sketchy place. But essentially, she had like a necklace or something that had a hell of a lot of healing capabilities. If anyone could use it, I mean, Niamh worked with her for a while. If Lillian is going to be there helping people. I don't remember what it's called.
It's a necklace of prayer beads.
Necklace of prayer beads. There you go.
If you produce it, he'll happily.
Yeah, I mean, none of us can use it. I'm pretty sure it's cleric only. If the rest of the group is okay with that, I had this thought in real life 6 months ago, and then never followed up on it.
Take it. There you
go. If you take the time, it's kicking around somewhere in your packs. He takes it from you and says, "I'm sure she'll appreciate the history it had." And we'll put
we also, Wildcards, have some other things that we've recently acquired that we may or may not be using within our group. We don't have to make the decision right now, but I think potentially rather than just having them, if none of us are going to use these things, equipping our friends may be worth it.
I agree. I think we'll do that before the fight.
Where are we envisioning? I mean, obviously things have just changed drastically in terms of like a camp.
I think beneath Theluna or with Mythander. I think basically
holding that north line. Is that kind of what we're thinking?
Yeah. Well, I mean, ideally it'd be great to have a camp in Mythander, like an HQ, but I think we can't know that for certain where this would be until we got a line of communication there.
Precisely. If they are unresponsive or downright unhappy,
we take the city.
I would rather not have another fight.
Sure.
But I don't think they'll fight us if we're going to defend Theluna.
That's it.
Whether we're on the same side, allied, we're still on the same side.
In terms of positioning, in terms of positioning,
within Theluna or north of Theluna as a hold for our forces and where our camp will be. That's where I'll be setting up.
So there are two different directions here. There is preventing the Vow's forces from moving north to Theluna. There is secondarily preventing what will be coming from that area to the rest of the continent.
Which is why we take our main camp north of there.
I agree.
Most of our forces will be in the city, and then obviously fighting the force coming from Castirian, and then whatever else may come. But there is always a reserve force waiting for any stragglers who leave the battlefield and head anywhere beyond our line. They get turned back or turned to ash.
That's what I like to hear. Well, I feel like
this
is a good plan. Before we head out, do you know if my family from Verdansia is heading north to Exandria?
Currently,
or to Arendelle, rather?
Currently, they still reside in Verdansia, but they will be when the Enclave makes its way north. They will be going. Francis has elected to remain in Verdansia alongside a retinue of Enclave as a final bastion for any of our forces in need of final refuge in Verdansia. For injured and those who recuperate, he's going to hold that position. But the rest of your family will be making it north alongside Elder Dameron and Phaon. Nope.
This
Keen.
I just thought of something. Do you know whereabouts your forces are right now? North-south wise?
Say again.
Do you know whereabouts the majority of the forces are right now?
They are primarily Verdansia and in the plains north of the Vale, between Verdansia and the Vale.
Okay, so they've made it that far.
Most of all of my Exandrian forces and all of the Sylvan forces are prepped and ready. They have several days' journey south to this new position, but we'll be there with plenty of time. The Red Guard and Haverfeld forces are a day or two shy of us, and obviously now need a new trajectory. So they may be a few days further, but we still have plenty of time. And they march fast.
Okay. We just need to, it may not happen, but there may be additional forces of theirs coming from the mountains north of the Kel. They are exceptionally capable, and if at all possible, should not be engaged with small numbers, or at all, until you have a solid plan. Just, it may not come. They may already be further south.
In truth, we're running out of forces to defend on another front.
Perhaps it's worth having people keep an eye out. They are magically inclined as well as physically inclined, and they are not to be fucked with. They will be at this final battle.
Understood. Perhaps I'll put the bug in our headmaster's ears. Perhaps they can provide some kind of eyes, further information.
Okay.
Again, I thank you for your service. And I wish you
doing our
luck
part
in whatever it is that comes next.
Yeah, this one's gonna be fun.
When are you planning to yourself depart?
I will be departing with our headmasters in the coming days.
Well, let's go back to Eli. Let's talk to him, and then let's head to our next destination before our final destination.
If I may ask one thing, additional, obviously, to the many I've asked. I don't think it's a wise decision for you to make your way to Marrakesh. I want that to be Colton's goal. However, if you do in some capacity find your way there, or if you do in some capacity find your way to Colton, send him home.
To Arendelle?
However this plays out, there's a likelihood a new king will be needed. He's the end of my line, and he's the rightful heir. And he will rule in my stead. I know he will hate us. He may hate you for it, but the realm will be thankful.
The city needs a leader now more than ever.
He may be young. He may be brash. But he's ready. And has good friends.
If
Keep the guide on.
you wanted to, you could declare Hondo's your son, and he's aged considerably now, so he's another.
I would happily take your heir.
I understand you would. And I will not do that.
Okay. It's just
make that abundantly clear.
Okay.
Prince to the Tritons or not. I shall.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that later. What a staggering revelation you uncovered. Come on, Prince. Let's go.
They will not listen to me.
So they are alive, you fucking liar. I knew it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just saying, no one's going to listen to me. I
don't believe that for a second.
Malcolm just kind of sits back as you dismiss yourselves. And he just kind of sits quietly alone in the war room as the door shuts and suctions behind, as you all make your way back to the tower of the College of Whitethorn. Is there anything you wanted to engage with Eli, just to check in on the disc thing, or was there?
I was thinking, what if we asked him to make a relief of it so he could keep studying it, but then we take it?
That's smart.
And we take it in case we need to use it.
Instantly.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long. There's plenty of stuff to do that with. So he will do that. And you guys can take the disc back. And he kind of just immediately goes back into studying it, unless you guys have anything else to say or engage with him. Then we can kind of begin to close out and see what is the plan forward, as you guys can, it's as you leave and return and have this moment with Eli, and as he returns into the office, the study of the headmaster's office, and leaves you to either take the teleportation circle wherever you wish, or make your own, or do whatever you want. It's roughly 10, 11 o'clock. You've got the rest of the day fully in your hands, and you've barely done, you've expended a little bit of energy to get here, but that's the plan.
We could teleportation circle. I guess there wasn't a circle in the Alabaster Tower, was there?
No, we just go back to the
tower has the doors.
So we could go back to Platinum Sanctuary, and then go through that portal to the Alabaster Tower, then use our key to take the door to the City of Doors. Do I have that right? To Sigil?
You could go, as far as you understand, based on Hondo's kind of language understanding, that this Guildhall ward seemed to align with potentially Sigil. You don't have 100% confirmation, but it seems to align. And at the very least, you guys can plane shift away from wherever you are back home.
Yeah.
So it's not like
he
you're
seemed confident.
Trapped. So
that's true.
Is that the plan? Is there any other preparations before you would walk through this door?
Gotta be fucking something. We've talked to everyone we can think of in terms of getting information about the City of Doors. Is there any legend lore or scrying we want to do today?
Then here's where we'll end it. We'll say you use your teleportation circle again, so mark off the 2nd, 5th to get to the Platinum Sanctuary. You can arrive and we'll end here in the Platinum Sanctuary. So at the very least, you could have anything you guys think of in the next week or whatever to think of that you want to look up or talk to Damascus or Uth or legend lore, etc., scry, whatever. You'll have time to do it. It's still early morning, but time is a ticking. It'll only take fucking 35 seconds to get through the 2 portals onto Sigil. So that is an easy action from door to door to door. Now, what happens beyond there is a totally different story. But that'll be the plan going forward. And you'll have a moment at the beginning of the next game if you want to try and talk anything through, investigate anything like that. But they'll be on to Sigil in the next game. And from there,
maybe we get a pirate army.
Pirate army is always in the cards.
Hondo, I just want you to answer me this question before we leave it.
Mm-hmm.
Just be truthful. Be honest. Brawley is a secret princess. I carry myself, obviously, like some sort of royal noble. Are you a secret Triton prince to the throne of Tritonstan?
I have told you many times. I left that place early in my life. I could not tolerate the other Tritons. They disgusted me, and I have no idea what's become of it, and I don't care what's become of the Tritons because they were despicable.
So you were exiled from the throne.
Yes, you could frame it that way, yes.
Fucking knew it. I knew it.
That's where we'll end it. Pick up next time.
Come on, Hondo, we need your people. You gotta reconnect with your family. It's always time.
Thanks for tuning in. Join us next time as the Wildcards venture into the mysterious center of the Outlands, the City of Doors, also known as The Cage. There will be a new episode up every Tuesday, so stay tuned. But until then, keep exploring.